Hey,
Hey,
how's it going?
not too bad. Yourself?
Doing. Anyways, so I'm gonna have you. Like I told you already, I'm gonna have you read a little bit on value theory and axiology. Just a few minutes on both, to talk about, and then we're gonna talk about some bad atheists, and for a little bit, and just some other stuff that's happening. But anyways, 15, 30 minutes, and then we'll finish our China stuff because it's gonna be about slavery and whatever. So.
Okay.
Because it's in a sense, the China stuff, going back to that for just a second, the China stuff, in a sense, we've kind of culminated to states, which is, what I wanted to do. And then I want to just show some of the abusive state, is in a sense slavery. But slavery is, to me, really both, of course, certain people that have really no rights, and then the general population that has very little rights.
Right.
Kind of like, we still have forms of that now, that, wage slavery and shit, where we basically have people who live in fucking poverty, or have,
Yep.
I mean, I lived in my car before yet went to work. I mean, so it's.
Yeah.
But my point is, so I'm just saying there's different kind of stuff, but I want to first address value and stuff, at least how I see it.
Okay.
So did you click on value theory?
I did. It's up a little bit now. Right. Value
Just read
theory.
the first two paragraphs is fine.
Okay. So in ethics and social sciences, value theory involves various approaches that examine how, why, and to what degree humans value things, and whether the object or subject of valuing is a person, idea, object, or anything else.
Right. Pause for just 1 second. So that's why people get confused when I say that, because this also relates to axiology. Both ethics and axiology do this. But
Okay.
is that you stop, in a sense, what you're evaluating, then you stop axiology. But as long as you're evaluating something, the axiology can be involved.
Right.
Do you grasp what I'm saying? So it is ethics, because ethics, of course, involves valuating.
Right. Right.
It is, in a sense, even anarchism, because we evaluate the state. Their claim that power doesn't need to have a justification or whatever, or certainly one that even everyone would agree with.
Right.
Anyways, but I'm just making a comment that, so anything that's evaluating is involving axiology. That's why someone really good in axiology, like I am, can actually be in all kinds of areas and kind of do well, because it's a type of thinking that applies to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So once you grasp it or get good at it, in a sense, it applies all over the place. It benefits like your entire life if you allowed it to. That's also why I don't get how some axiologists are not, socialists or even anarchists, because did you not evaluate the situation?
Right. Yeah. How did you get to that conclusion then?
Right. Okay. No. So anyway, yeah, I really would be dumbfounded for ones that would be supporting like Nazis and shit, being axiologists. Because actually, speaking of which, the Hartman Institute, I think, that does scientific axiology, the social science, I can't remember, just because I read so much stuff, but I can't remember if he himself is Jewish and his parents were in, or family, somebody was in or died in, or multiple people, I don't know, died in Germany, or if just because of that happening, he realized someone needs to figure out values. I can't remember now exactly, but I'm just saying. So to think that somebody would be Nazi and also an axiologist,
right? It doesn't work.
What? Yeah. But I also hold them accountable. But yes, that's correct. You're not that, but you should be the best, right? You, unlike the general public, actually get axiology.
Right.
So don't give me this crap that once we turn it on, it's like a flashlight. Once you turn that flashlight on, you can't pick which area the beam goes. If you aim it in a room, it's going to go wherever. You can't just like go at an angle or something. You have to see what's in front of you. And axiology is a way of seeing things.
Right.
So it's like you can't. How could you like turn off? You know, like no. I just find that there's gonna be some logical fallacy or something in there, because how in the fuck are you getting to that point where you can't see that we really should do this universally? Like, say if you say, well, Americans should have, you know, human rights. Everybody should have human rights.
Yeah. How do you limit that, right?
You get what I'm saying? So, but that's what I'm saying. Axiology goes, whoa, that's wrong. You just tried to limit something that can't be limited. Anyways, I'm not going to go into all that. But exactly. But this is the reason I'm saying all this, because I want you to get like why slavery is bad, why capitalism is bad, why conservatism is bad. You know, like why fascism is bad. Trump says he wants to go be a fascist. But then again, we have fascist enablers. Biden, who I actually cried after I watched his thing, not because I was inspired, but because he said even some other things. But one thing to me was horrifying. There's no red line I will do with Israel. What the fuck? Holy, I fucking cried. Because I feel like, because I told you, I know Trump is worse, but then, because this is what I'm saying, Trump will come in, he also totally supports Israel. Fanatically. Yeah. But I just heard Biden support Israel fanatically.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And especially when, it's not like it's his favorite sports team. People are fucking having died in a genocide, and they're both acting like it's a sports team.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
And it's horrifying, and like I said, I cried. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a rational reaction to that, because you're left with what are your two options are both evil, right? Like it's not the lesser of two evils.
But that's an axiology, by the way. Evil, that claim is an axiology claim, unless you're saying supernatural bullshit. If you're not, of course, you're making an axiology claim, a value judgment. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Like that's why I try to, you know, promote axiology so much, because it's fucking good to see the world this way, so you get less error. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish reading.
Okay, so then within philosophy, it is also known as ethics or axiology.
Yeah, I don't like when they say it's known as ethics.
Right, it is, or
well, what I mean also is, or axiology, value theory is what I'm trying to say is value theory is a type of thing, like behavior in a sense, or a category of behaviors. Inside of that, of course, is ethics and also axiology.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Well,
right.
You get right. It's like I always say when I try to break down morality, I say morality is the subject we're talking about. Inside of that is values, morals, ethics. Values is what gives everything meaning. Like we're talking, or not.
Yeah.
So, and then morals is your personal way of, you think that like Damien has this personal way of behaving, and Corey's could be different. Although Corey's and Damien's are similar because we have these similar value structures.
Right.
So because of that, anyway, so that gives your morals. Your morals, though, should not, especially if other people have rights, doesn't mean that whatever you and me think is because see, I would force anarchism on people. I mean, so you know, I mean, really, I'm just saying. Watching the news, I'm like, I wish I could just make people be anarchists. I mean, fuck.
But that, you know.
Anyways, I'm not saying you should force. You get what I'm saying. But going back to you shouldn't force, right? But so I also don't believe you shouldn't force. So like, it creates a fucking dilemma, doesn't it? Just like I said with the voting thing. Holy horror! I don't want to vote for anybody. What the fuck? I want to throw up in the bathroom. I feel sick.
Yeah.
But as you said, I also realize if I don't, then no, it doesn't matter what it does, my own personal morals. I will feel I let Trump in if that guy gets in, because he will still support Israel's genocide, but he will also take away women's rights, take away gay rights, take away gay marriage, take away contraception, take away abortion, you know, right? I mean, racism, he fucking Nazi. He literally read, you know, Nazi, you know, things when we went to bed. I mean, he is fucking monster to me. So but like I said, Corey, it just, I feel sick.
Yeah, I don't envy you guys your choices, right? Well, our choices aren't much better.
Well, I'm just making a comment. I feel like, oh my God, this is horrid.
Yeah,
but you know,
it's pretty awful.
It also goes, and see what capitalism produces. Fucking horror.
Yeah,
look at these fucking choices. Ugh. Anyways, so it's also going to get to why the bad atheist thing, because I wanted to say that, speaking of genocide and stuff, I've had atheists on both sides being monsters, being racist. One is pro-Israel, the other one's pro-Palestine, and then they're doing fucking hate on going both ways. And I'm like, look, totally against the genocide, totally against even the what happened to, you know, the Israelis with, you know,
October 7th.
October 7th. I once again, it's real simple. My value system. I'm against people fucking getting hurt. This is fucking bullshit. Okay, I have this value system that people are dignity beings and they matter. So yes, it fucking all bothers the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But that is no fucking excuse on either side for fucking racism.
Right.
Or like, you know, just disgusting things of how you treat other people, you know, ethnocentrism or whatever. So that and for me, and I've blocked racist, I block you. I will not hear your argument. I fucking won't do it. My value is, oh man, get that off of me as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So to me, that's also why, you know, I have to block or say to the atheists sometimes, to me, act racist, act sexist, act fucking homophobic. But they'll go sometimes, but I'm doing against that person. Motherfucker, when you supported it all. Yeah. So like, but and this is another thing too, just 1 second, also about talking about critical thinking. Israel is a state.
Yeah.
Human beings may be Jewish. This is not the same fucking thing.
Yep. These are separate categories.
Yeah. So this one guy was like, I tried to be nice to him. I was letting the leftist, because I've also blocked leftists.
Yeah.
Fucking, you say fucking racist shit. Done.
Yeah.
Okay. What the fuck? You should be better than that. Actually, probably with the leftists, I may have said, which I did. I told him that is a racist image. Sharing racist propaganda is sharing racist propaganda and supporting racism.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, but you see how the Jews are acting to the Palestinians? I don't give a fuck what the state is doing. I do care. I mean, to bring to somehow that means all Jews in the world, and there's Jews against that shit too. So
yep. And
no,
I think you can condemn the actions of people who support the state of Israel. You can condemn the support they give to the state of Israel.
Then you should. If you don't actually,
but you can do that without being like lumping all Jewish people into the same group. Like that's racism. That's racist.
Yeah, right. And I'm just, and he's like, yeah, but it's okay because it's that. And I'm like, no, the fuck it is. No, how about this? Let's assume that all Jews, supported Israel. That would make them all scumbags. But he still shouldn't be racist.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm just saying, I'm trying to show the values. No, you shouldn't do that. No, there's no time like, you know what? I can be homophobic or sexist because that's an evil person.
Right. Yeah, that does seem to be a way that people justify their own bad behavior towards various groups, right?
Because see, in their heart, they're really like kind of some of that sexism and that racism and the fucking homophobia. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So then they see somebody who happens to be that group do a thing.
Bad. Oh, I can finally do it, and
I can finally use that slur I've been holding in.
It's just So to me, that's it's bad stuff. So go ahead and finish reading.
Sure. So traditionally, philosophical investigations in value theory have sought to understand the concept of the good. Today, some work in value theory has trended more towards empirical sciences, recording what people do value and attempting to understand why they value it in the context of psychology, sociology, and economics. Economics isn't real science.
Well, the point they're trying to say is, I know, and also how they use value theory would not be how just a strict axiology, because axiology would be like, wait a minute.
Right. Yeah.
Why are you not adding the human suffering as a factor that you need to consider?
Yeah.
How can you say this is economically good but ethically not good?
Right. Yeah.
You know which one I would say as an axiologist? Actually, all axiologists just say trumps the one other one. Ethics.
Yeah.
Ethics trumps that's why you don't do racism, just because someone's evil. Ethics trumps behavior.
Yeah.
Or anger or whatever. And like I said, I think that first off, I think that any government, because people to me don't have power, but any government has power. So I think that Biden personally saying that there's no red line, anything can happen. They could literally become Nazis.
Right. They could have concentration camps and put children in
whatever the fuck.
Anything.
Full on, dude, start being racist as everybody, or not everybody, but that person I'm trying to say. Fuck. And he would totally support that, or he would be okay to support it. To me, that right there, he should be in trouble. That should be against American law. Whoa. What the fuck was that? No, come on. I mean, they have no problem, of course, going to every country in the world and defeating supposedly communism, but they'll let fascism reign in this country as long as it's someone they like, I guess.
Yeah, as long as profits are up.
Yeah, but I'm saying on either side, right? The one side, Trump is flat out saying he's a Nazi, but they're like, that's cool, I like Trump. And then you have the other side where Biden's like, I'm nice and I'm old, but I totally support genocide. And everyone's like, yay! No. What the fuck?
No. And then they wonder why, like, people who are farther left don't actually like Biden, right? Like, it's bizarre.
Oh, well, his past is not like, but he could have changed. Okay. But how his current behavior is fuck, no red line. Just think about that. Nothing ethical would ever change that. I don't like people like that. That's fucking, that's scary. That's just as scary as trust bullshit. No red line is scary.
Yeah, that's right. How can I just don't, I can't wrap my head around like the idea of that. There's no line? Like,
they're out. They believe in raping people as a way of governing, or no red line. It's just like,
what the fuck?
Anyways, but I just thought, see, now there's someone who has no fucking clue what axiology is.
Yeah,
you wouldn't say that without feeling ill.
Yeah,
I feel ill. You saying it.
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyways. So I just wanted to, like I said, I know sometimes I don't, because I don't want people to think that I just feel like outrage or something, or whatever. No, I understand axiology, and this shit bothers me fucking greatly.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be wrong to be outraged about it, right? Like,
well, true, but all I'm trying to say is that, because people, I'm saying, trying to judge. If they're trying to judge, like somehow, because someone is going to be on here that totally supports Israel or whatever. And all I'm saying is, or whatever, I'm just saying that when they hear this is not outrage that is unreasonable. I'm trying to explain what axiology is, what it does, and how it comes to conclusions. Because Corey's already seen, it's actually pretty simple. It's just people don't like the answers.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's actually not that complicated. Yeah. Oh, Brown is so complicated. I'm like, we make it complicated. But I think because we're not ethical. So yeah, we want to go, yeah, that behavior that was really terrible and fascist, I still kind of like it.
It's okay when the people that we like do it, right? Yeah.
So it's for me, it's not okay. I'm anti-fascist, hate it, no matter who is doing it, including even leftists do it. I fucking don't like it. Yeah. So anyways, so now we've read that, and yes, they're trying to actually, by the way, they want to make it mainly economics, because then they can steal the value of axiology for monetary purposes,
right?
You know, like capitalism does.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of, like, if you look online, there probably are, especially axiology profiling, which is what, in a sense, I'm teaching you to do. So fuck them, you know, for free.
Yeah,
because they charge money to teach. But of course, I'm not doing it step by step like they do. But I'm trying to teach you in a real world thing, so that it's become so natural. You just fucking think that way. You don't need to you know. Because they'll say, well, you got to figure out intrinsic value, extrinsic value, systemic value. You got to, you know, there's all kinds of other things you got to understand. And intrinsic is like, Corey is valuable to a person. I think people are dignity beings. That's why it bothers me when they're harmed. Yeah. You shouldn't be harmed. It's like I'm also against death penalty. Still simple. I value people as dignity beings. So do you think I support genocide? I don't like people that are bad being killed. Let the people that are good being killed. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck. The moral weight of that is immense. Yeah. So, but I'm saying, once you understand that, so that's the intrinsic thing. That's why it bothers you. Intrinsically, as a tree cuts down, I mean, you go, oh, I shouldn't have cut down the tree. But you're not like crying at night or feeling, you know, people don't horror over it. No, maybe some people do.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, not saying I'm against trees being cut down. I mean, I've seen big, humongous, thick, you know, redwoods are cut down. You're like, fuck, you know, takes the day to cut it down or something, you know. Anyways, so value definitely depends on, I think that's what we're talking about. Like, that axiology is realizing that everything isn't just one thing. Yeah. So, and there's a value, and it's constantly can be changing stuff. Just like people's changes how they like things, their value of it is changed. Like, say, you know, when you're a kid, you value a certain thing. You get older, that same value is just not there. Yeah. Or whatever. But anyways, so we're going to keep reading. Now, forget that one. No need to read no more of that value theory. Now let's just read axiology real quick. Just read the little bit.
All right. So axiology, from the Greek, axia, meaning value or worth, and logia, or study of, is the philosophical study of value. It includes questions about the nature and classification of values and about what kinds of things have value. It is intimately connected with various other philosophical fields that crucially depend on the notion of value, like ethics, aesthetics, or philosophy of religion.
Right. Now pause for 1 second. So when someone told me I should just say I use ethics, going back to the things that it was listing, it can be like, that would be like me saying I am the philosophy of religion. Right? Yeah, or I'm the philosophy of aesthetics. Because all of those, in a sense, are, but you're not getting it. Axiology does every one of those, more of them, anything you do in your life. So it's not limited. It's way more than most things. Like, I guess philosophy should be a lot of your life. That's for damn sure. But but aesthetics, the things are beautiful or not beautiful. You know, I mean, it does not. You know, philosophy or religion. The only reason there is because people made up shit. If they don't made up shit, you wouldn't even need that crap. Right. So. Yeah. But I'm just making a comment that it's wrong to see axiology is like the web that everything else is sticking to. Right.
Yeah, it says it's also closely related to value theory, which we just talked about, and meta-ethics.
Right, and meta-ethics, because ethics that ethically thinks about ethics is meta-ethics, in a sense. Like you're contemplating, or you're doing philosophy, not to what. In other words, instead of it being some kind of practical ethics where, you know, you shouldn't do this because of this, like rape is bad because it harms people, you know, emotionally as well as physically. And but you realize the emotional actually is more important, really, even than the physical, because unless they have a child, of course. But if they don't have a child, their psychological trauma of being raped lasts, maybe the rest of their life, but the physical harm is gone. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying practical ethics. You realize you should really hold them accountable for the life trauma when you think about rape. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of seeing it as a sex act, whether for what reason, see it as a life trauma event. Because then you would understand it more, I feel, in a sense, making the ethical journey of what it should. The ethical journey I'm talking about is what you come to the meta-ethic conclusion. We need to make a practical ethic that rape is bad, not because of just the harm sexually, but the lifetime trauma event that has happened.
Yeah, like ethics is the things that we think are right or wrong.
Correct.
Meta ethics is the reasoning and analysis thereof.
Right. So axiology is getting there because why? Axiology is involved whenever you evaluate things. And how are you figuring out how to make a decent argument or a good argument or a rational argument or a skeptical argument or any kind of positive argument or even a negative argument? You're going to have to evaluate which things are better, what fits better, what supports this in a way that others will be persuaded, in a sense. And so that's what, to me, where ethics is. Ethics is stuff where they're really trying to persuade others, which is what I feel axiology does, and I also feel anarchism does this. We try to persuade others. Look at how these people matter, right? See, outside, to me, a lot of the anarchism ideas really fit well with axiology. Because axiology sees people as really mattering and dignity beings, and they're an intrinsic value. Well, so does anarchism. That's why it can't stand these hierarchies of oppression. Yeah, because that is absolutely violating the individual.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just saying. So it goes together, but I feel like axiology, other than ethics, see, ethics is different. Because ethics can be the final choice of what's right and wrong. Axiology, though, is like you said, it can be how you got there. Yeah. Not just the conclusion. Although axiology cares about the conclusion and does make conclusions, it also cares about the process. What really is going on? And so, like I told you, it always starts with give me all the detail. I want as much detail. Then you look for what kind of things, and then you build a hypothesis, like science, in a sense. So you look, so it doesn't, that's why I said it doesn't start skeptical. It wants to be informed.
Right. Yeah.
And then from being informed is where you start to analyze the stuff involved and see its value. Once seeing its value, then you can reach the conclusion, axiology, this is of value. We have to protect it or not do it or do it or, just action. It's really what what's a just action? Is it a just action to say there's no red line that another state could do that I would say I would stop supporting him?
That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
So bizarre. It makes me think of the way that we analyze the world, we critically, we apply this critical analysis. We go through value theory, we go through evidence, we go through logic, we do all these things trying to analyze the world and understand it better and have a better world. Yeah. And Joe Biden just doesn't fucking do that.
Obviously not.
He just doesn't care.
Once again, if he did, he would not come to that conclusion.
Yeah, exactly.
He wouldn't.
He couldn't.
Because I'm trying to show you that because that's why it can be science also, because it thinks in kind of a methodological way. It doesn't allow you just to, my opinion is this.
Right. Yeah.
So it requires you to do So and I try to put it together like I told you before in the Hammer of Truth. But let me quick so about axiology. So the three types of value, the one is intrinsic, like people are intrinsic value. Extrinsic can be, I always do it as behavior. Like, what does this thing of value doing, right? Joe Biden may be a person of value, but that statement was absolutely valueless. In fact, it was what I would consider disvalue. It is something so horrible, it removes good value.
Yeah.
Disvalue. Like I said, to me, the God concept disvalues humanity. Just think, we're supposed to be servitude. And then if we do that, then we'll be protected or cared for. This is slavery. This is horrid. So, in other words, I can't be my own self. I have to serve you. Like, no, this is not freedom.
Yeah.
And to me, any God that wouldn't want my self-freedom is not worth worshiping. And as an axiologist, I would say, actually, there's no being worth worshiping.
Right.
Because all the beings are special and wonderful, and we should care for them. But worship, fuck no.
Well, yeah, because worship implies that a being has more value than another, right?
Right. So a dignity being is more. Yeah, you're not thinking correctly. Now, I do think that dignity beings have a responsibility in a sense to their own kind. Like, say, a fish and stuff has more responsibility to protect other fish than it does, say, a shark.
Okay.
It's being harmed or something. I'm just saying. Well, but just think of this. Everyone starts with themselves, right? Right? You agree, right? Every dignity being is an individual.
Yep.
But every dignity being is immediately connected to their children.
Yeah.
And their parents. So their family, in a sense, right? So most people, doesn't mean you have to, but most people, that is the first level of beyond me.
Right.
But that's not the only level. So the next level, axiology, right? The next level, of course, is your family and friends, people that you also sometimes see as family. So what that means, right? Because this is what I try to say too. Like, say if a person says, I'm going to be a fire department, okay? They take on the moral responsibility in a sense that my family now is the town.
Mm-hmm.
It's still my family. So what I'm saying is, but to grasp this, you would die for your family, but you won't die for maybe a stranger. But if I now change my value, see, change your values, change your life. If I simply expand family to mean now the whole town, well, everyone would feel it's my duty to actually risk my life.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
And even die.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then a lot of times military, or they expand to a country, right? To what they consider family in the axiology sense, because they are now willing to die for their family.
Right.
I'm just trying to be grasp like how we do value. So did those borders actually there or change, Corey? Who put those there?
Yeah, no, that was
we did psychologically. Right. So what I'm trying to show you why I say that my family is the humanity of the earth. That's why I said I do not, try to limit who I see as a dignity being. It's all these are my people. When I tell you, like, we're going to read the history of China, we're reading our history. These are my people. These are my family. So I try to say it in a way that I see it axiology, because how can it actually be anything different?
Right.
That's the real reality, is we're one family. We're humanity. We've allowed hatred and racism and sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, all kinds of ethnocentrism, whatever, to just invade us.
Yeah.
And it's all fucking bullshit we made up. Yeah. We believe in made up hate.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
for sure. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, I think you've laid it out pretty good there. Like you say, like, it's all kind of arbitrary in a sense, because it doesn't usually have like an analysis or a thoughtful lead up to it.
Right.
We're just like humans just hate certain people based on nonsense stuff that somebody came up with before them and told them that was a thing.
Right. And a lot of the things has been people in power. So that's what we're kind of reading about China. What happens when people finally get power?
Yeah.
Well, of course, great power abuses greatly. So let's start.
All right. So we've got.
I sent you a picture, by the way. Remember? I sent you a picture. I know it's not finished for you because you sometimes get that I'm not done. But I'm gonna make it a little easier to see and change a little bit, but so it all kind of matches. But my point of seeing this picture, so we can talk about it, Corey, because they're gonna see the finished product. But is that how that they whip people is a common, right? There's 3 pictures. They're whipping people that actually can't even fight back. Total fucking cowards, right? Yeah. And also how they serve people. Look at how they just it's this disgusting. Now, if that person was crippled, needing to be carried, then I don't have no problem with it. But you know that's not what it is.
Yeah, no, that's like the boss or the
it's able-bodied boss or whatever, ruler, elite, something that other people have to carry around. It just vile to me. Then the other one is, look at that one person's like almost thin and starving. The other person is fat. Look at all the food and the extras, and they're getting served. Yeah. Literally have access to the extreme. Who can even eat that much, right?
While the other person is, that's right. While the other person is just is serving them.
Yeah, not even eating, right?
Yeah.
And then look at the one getting served at the bottom. Literally like freaking 18 chicks, and they are carrying him as well. While they fan him so he can stay comfortable. Just, I mean, how can you see that and that not bother you? I mean, do you not? I feel like a person like that obviously is not in touch with axiology.
You're right.
Because what I'm saying about axiology is about turning it off. You really can't. Once you can see value, you can shut it off apart because it's uncomfortable. You know it was uncomfortable, and then know it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you say, it's the flashlight. The flashlight shines on the things you see. So then, as soon as you're looking in that direction, that's what you see. You see that.
Right. Now, I agree that every axiology is not spending their entire life looking at every direction. Although, like I said, I don't see how you could know this really great, wonderful thing that works good on everything and yet not apply it to your life.
Right.
I mean, how good are you at axiology if that's not some immediate thing? And then, like I said, if you apply your life like I did, I applied it to my life and I realized, wow, not only was I believing a fake God, I believed in a society that allowed people to starve on the streets while other people, can fly to the moon. This is not good.
Yeah.
And so I started, realized fighting back. So, and that's what I'm saying about this slavery. It bothers me. And that people often think of, emperors as like great people. The ones that are doing this, not good people. Not good people.
Yeah.
Super easy to say that. I guess unless you use that what do they call that? Because I use multiculturalism, cultural relativism, which I don't think about because I don't use it. But cultural relativism, so well, as long as they thought it was okay in their society, it's okay. And I'm like, can you say that without something like spill coming in your mouth or vomit?
Yeah.
What? No.
Sure I'll
say it. Rape is bad, Corey.
Yep. No matter which culture it says.
Right? I think it might have maybe even started, or who knows, but I mean, evidence of it maybe at 25,000 in Russia because the figurines are being tied up.
Oh.
So, and I wrote a thing about it. Someone else was saying they think that these people were raping everybody, and that's why the DNA changes from the women and up the men. I'm like, well, yeah, I do agree that 7,000 years ago. And she's like, no, the Paleolithic. I don't maybe. So, I mean, I feel less confident in saying that because I don't, you know what I'm saying? Genetically, it's real obvious by 7,000
Okay.
to 5,000 genetically. So I'm not stepping out on a limb, literally stepping on the genetics. So, but the other one, the only evidence I have that there could have been rape in the Paleolithic is those figurines.
Okay.
They look like they're tied up, but could they be just shaman magic and they think those are Mother Earth and they're trying to control her because she's freezing everybody out?
Yeah, it could be something else. Like,
so that's why I told her I'm not saying it. I'm not saying against that it could be. I'm just saying I don't know if that's the only thing, or maybe that they were together, or and I'm not even saying that I'm 100% that that's a rape victim. I'd say I don't know. It looks like it could be something. It doesn't look friendly. But people doing religious weird shit that's not seeming friendly to me, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to mention it in my book, but I'm going to say, I don't know. Because I really feel, yes, there's some support that could be something like that. And even then, we should talk about the genetics, maybe. But it's obvious later, and I like to stick to where, I was trying to tell you that people understand it's not like every speculation is equal. Some speculations, when you have like just barely something and you're making gigantic claims, is totally different than somebody who's got gigantic evidence and making little tiny claims.
Yeah.
So I know that's hard. That's valuing, you know, like a scale. Ooh, one has nothing, one has everything. Not equal.
Yeah, that's right.
But like I said, it's once you start thinking axiology, it's a lot faster. Because you start realizing it's not like you have to learn ethics or learn this or learn that or learn philosophy or learn. If you learn how to value, a lot of this stuff just starts feeling really fucking natural.
Right. Yeah. And I think on some level it kind of just is.
Well, that's also accurate. That actually they've done brain studies and people think in organizations of axiology value. And even animals, that's why they choose to do this, especially social animals. How you navigate that is axiology in a sense.
Yeah.
But there's one thing of, you know, doing stuff, you know, randomly and then being a sports person or, you know, where you're practicing every day and then you become an expert.
Right. You know right. For sure. Yeah.
Right. Big difference.
Yeah. For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, even to be able to get that there's a difference is an evaluation of axiology. And the fact that you came to a very strong confirmation, right? You're not even skeptical. You know it's because of axiology, because I'm just saying it's valid though. Because if you think of things of what its value, you can make way more accurate things fast.
Yeah.
Without having to do a lot of thinking. You know, what's involved? That's what you need to. The first thing shouldn't be judgment. The first thing should be question what is involved. The who, what, where, how, why. Just like I said, these people, you know, stopped a person from killing another person. You're like, well, that's good. And you're like, well, that other person was actually Hitler. You're like, whoa.
Oh, maybe not as good.
Anyways, I'm just making a comment that you immediately realize, whoa, the value. Because the only thing that changed was the value because of extrinsic behavior. Because intrinsically, Hitler is still a dignity being, but extrinsically, he's a monster.
Right.
So we're not judging his intrinsic. That's why if you make intrinsic racist, sexist, whatever things, the intrinsic stuff, what the fuck? You should be doing their behavior.
Yeah. 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 Like I was actually thinking about this a little. It's kind of related. I was thinking about this morning. And it's like the things that people have just in their heads are not really any of our business. But the way that they behave in the world is, right?
Well, yeah, definitely. Because like I said about morals, right? So morals and then ethics. Morals are what you personally have. Ethics is how you behave in others. That's why there's business ethics, not exactly business morals.
Right.
You know, there's actually, you can study in school, you know, business ethics. They don't give classes on business morals. What I'm just trying to say is, so in a sense, people are using these in a kind of a colloquial term, but they kind of get like what I'm saying because there is a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I used to have a friend that was a philosopher. He would say, I hate talking to these religious people. They're always moralizing.
Mm.
You know, because he's not saying that they're good ethical thinkers.
No. Yeah, that's right. What he means is that they're pushing their morals onto him.
Right, which is not something you should. When you get to ethics, it should be a general way we all behave, not that you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Like I'm a nudist, and I do think there should be areas where you can be nude in society because I think there's nothing fucking wrong with it. But I also think that other people also have rights. And other people have the right to not have to have nowhere they can be without nudism. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So I just think that society should be built like for everyone, not just a few. Just like when I was in the truck stops as a truck driver, they used to have smoking rooms.
Okay.
I thought that was great because you should totally let people smoke. I didn't like smoking people, smoking around me and some food and stuff, but I thought there's no reason they shouldn't have a room. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And then they ended up taking them out, called them illegal and stuff, because they still said that people,
the secondhand smoke was still getting out of the rooms.
No, they said no, workers.
No.
Which I was like, oh yeah, workers, but then just pick people that smoke, because non-smoker workers had to go in there.
Right.
And I said, well, that's wrong. Yeah. They shouldn't have to go in there.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So, but once again, why can't we just figure it out? They just took it out. And so now, and I'm like,
yeah. So now the smokers just got to be outside no matter what it's like.
And now outside bothers you because now you have to walk through a cloud of fucking smoke when they could have been in there and had bothered nobody.
Yeah, that's right.
I like society just doesn't know how to make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's once again,
that's the thing.
Pedophile and you say you have needs, I'll put you in a fucking mental institution. There's your needs.
Yeah, like too bad. Some of your needs are going to go unmet because they violate another person's autonomy.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. So like rape. What causes rape? Let me list the 10 things. The rapist, 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 the rapist. There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Duh. No, come on now. Yeah. Period. Anyway, so
for sure.
Gotta tell it like it is.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start reading about the slavery in China.
So
you do the video first. You're right.
Okay.
And actually, before we do the video, just real quick. So I've been reading the book that I sent to you too about the mountain myths, the ancient, white race bullcrap. So I didn't know that, like I told you last time, that Thomas Jefferson at the beginning, when you read it, you learn. Thomas Jefferson, knew about the mountains and he even investigated it kind of scientifically. And Benjamin Franklin also knew about the mountains. He had more, white people did it beliefs, or certainly less scientific, let's put it that way. But then I just was reading and I found out that Joseph Smith actually might have plagiarized some of his Book of Mormon from the mound builders, the white mound builder belief book, or at least some of the ideas. And the fact that he said he got his stuff from a mound, the gold plates in a little box and all this. It was, supposedly, ancient Jewish people who had come all the way from, Israel to America. That's like how some of the Americans are, here, because Jewish people. But anyways, that's what he says. So, but even funnier is he said that he got these tablets and he talked to an angel, and he could read the tablets as long as he wore his hat and had his glasses on. He could, because then you could translate things magically. Come on, Corey. It's called belief.
Why are you skeptical?
Yeah, come on. This is a faith time right now. Just go ahead and believe. Anyway, so moving right along. So he said it was in this mountain, and this one they explained its name. I don't remember, but I have the thing, the page. I'm gonna go look it up, but it's fucking funny to me. But they said it's this biggest in the area, right? Big mound. It's a natural mound made from a glacier.
Oh, geez.
So I'm not thinking there was any buried treasure.
No.
And it wasn't a native mound of any native. It's literally a glacier. So everything that looks like a mound is not always a mound.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes it's just not. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just dirt.
That's funny.
But anyways, I just thought I'd tell you that because I found that absolutely hilarious. So they said at the time people were saying that he had plagiarized because they knew about the other stuff, and they were saying this is like plagiarized.
Right.
They actually thought it was more plagiarized than it actually is. They thought like all the names and everything were all, you know. But then when he read it, it was like, no, yeah, it says white people, but it also talks about Romans and this and that. And he goes, no, I know. It's not exactly the same. So he got somewhat vindicated. He's only
a lot of it's just imaginary.
A lot of it's just his really good imagination. That's all.
Yeah. He didn't steal all of it. Some of it he made up.
See, gotta give him credit, goddammit.
That's right.
Don't make him look totally bad.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
But I thought that, like, so to read the book, Corey, it is interesting. So some of it's
for sure
a little dry, but it's still interesting. And
I plan on getting into
it. And plus, like I said, I really want to know because this really is a big deal of like unknown history in the Americas or in the world. All these mounds and people don't even know about them. And they literally had all kinds of pyramid-like things, and they think, oh, just dirt mounds. Have you seen what they look like? When they were built, they didn't look like dirt mounds.
Right.
Or they go, oh, it's just piles of sand, you know, and shells. Yeah, that was done in a hectagon, you know, symbol, and there was like 100 feet high and flat topped and houses on it, and you know, because it was not a big deal.
Yeah, just a dirt mound. Yeah, just happened to be there.
Yeah. So, anyways, so I really appreciate too, because I want to talk about that, because also if you have more race, I thought there was some racism in it. I didn't know that so much was involved in a lot of even Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon. Like, what the fuck? God, people just want white people, not natives, to have built this shit.
Right.
All right, though. Let's do this video.
All right.
But we could watch it all, but I do want to talk about slavery.
Okay.
Knowledge already, that kind of religious practice is developed 4,000 years ago, is something I'm very interested in. Is this ritual encounter with the landscape that created a notion of a civilization, which far predates the rise of administrative management of the landscape and bureaucracy. And around this time, you also see from the highland going way down into the central Yangtze of prospecting activities. So these double loop handle jars are highland vessels. They start to appear on the
Pause
edge.
for a second. So just wanted to, did people watching this or you, just notice how everything spread out is a lot more connected than people think.
Right.
It just keeps saying that over and over and over again. This is still really before there is totally states. So it's just showing in other words, people think like, well, the reason we became metropolitanized or, you know, largest because states came and then everyone, you know, then had to come together. People were already doing that. They don't need states.
Right.
Anyway.
People moved around regardless of the existence of states. Yeah. And they lived in groups regardless of the existence of states.
Right. Yeah, states did not invent groups or something, you know, or even shared ideas, or like I'm sorry to show large areas. That's not a state. So large areas are all kind of, you know, religiously and art and everything and culture connected. Yet there's no state. I'm just saying this concept is, well, the reason we're French now is, or Canadian now is we're a state and we all have this shared identity. It wasn't invented. As I was saying, it's not somehow like the glory of states invented identity.
Right. Nope.
Middle Yangtze, which is a copper-rich area, and you see this bundle of Siberian spares deposited there. So they gave compelling evidence that Siberian metallurgists were involved in the prospecting activities, in developing a knowledge of seeing the landscape through as a place that associate with metals. And Neolithic societies don't do that.
I have argued this, and I've already to explain it before, but I've said that people that from Siberia came down and they give technology to the horse technology and the chariot, and they give the metallurgy technology. Like I said, they give you religion. So it's all coming. Well, because some people thought the ideas start in China and go up. Well, that kind of happens, but they also come down. They come down first, and then they go back, and then they come down, and they go back, and they come down. I mean, and that's another thing too. Is once again, because borders are like some made up shit that we invented, not like reality. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
With that development, the middle Yangtze River area was endorsed through these jades. So these jades suddenly appeared in the middle Yangtze, extremely sophisticated engravings, and you also see them in Taosi and Shimao. Look at this hollow area. That's like the toad you just saw in that Shimao, in that copper version, and the standing eagles and these mask design. We don't know what kind of mythology they are attached to, but I will not be surprised that fragments of these storytelling are preserved in text. We don't have the resolution to recognize them. So around 1900 BC, these coastal center declined. So
pause for a second
here.
So the thing in the middle is in a sense probably the first state. The reason I say probably is because it's kind of a mythical thing. They call it something different than that. They call it, I think it's XI. It's the XI kingdom, and I think it relates, as he's already saying, it relates to Siberian ideas, and they bring in the mandate of heaven and the god Tan. Just like tying it all together, I've talked about before.
Right, right.
So these people are the first, in a sense, or this mythical kingdom that relates to probably these people, I should say, is the ones that even the Shang dynasty, who is for sure does it, right? Is they know that these people 100%, or not 100%, but most of what it says is accurate, right? So they know this is historical in a sense. Shang dynasty is right after this. They, in a sense, conquered this. And then they take the mandate of heaven and they keep the Tan god as a thing. And Tan, remember, is the daytime sky. But actually, the daytime really means the sun. Because if you got the late noon sun, or whatever, it's going to sun setting and stuff, they consider that a different deity. And the sun rising was considered Venus, who gives birth to the sun in a lot of religions.
Okay.
So it's not the morning sun is they consider a star at night. In a sense, Venus is both at night and in the day. They think in the morning. I'm just saying the mythology. So yeah, it's really important, because that's why when you understand Tan, or they say the blue sky or whatever, like a lot of times they have blue ribbons, even Mongolia and stuff, and Siberia, and it's all about the blue sky. Well, and I'm trying to help you understand. They say, well, how does that relate to the sun? Well, because the only time there's a blue sky is when the sun is at noon or whatever, in a sense, or you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Or is something other than rising and setting, in a sense, for those people. The whole thing in between that is all one deity, which really does relate to the sun in a secondary way, in a sense.
Okay.
So I'm just explaining. So because I know that I've said it before, and I even showed Tan as a sun deity, And some people don't grasp like exactly why would I say that? Because these deities are not the morning, they're not the noon. These deities are all, sorry, the noon. They're not the morning or the evening. These are all, a certain time.
Okay.
Anyways, just trying to understand. So they just, that's why it's, in a sense, to me, it's really it's a even though it's they say a blue sky deity or something. This is still about the sun. Okay. And I'm just saying that this is the one that did it. This is the one that does, because in English they would say the divine right of kings. That's right. No different than what they call it there, the mandate of heaven. Yeah. Heaven really was relating to Tan. The sun, in a sense, the daytime sky and the sun is telling me that I have the right to rule. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see that and how animistic that is. They're looking at the sun as some sort of, in the sky as a being.
Right, anyway. Right.
So anyway, so I just understand what's going on. So this is who they're talking about. The rise of this thing is important because this is actually like the first state of China.
Okay.
We had huge population loss, possibly due to plague, other problems. And then against this major backdrop of society collapse in the Luoyang Basin down here, the first Bronze Age civilization city emerged in China around 1900 BC. That's called AtHope. And this Luoyang Basin, later China, you will hear again and again because it's one of the two favorite places to build imperial capitals. Okay, and this was regarded as the axis mundi, the center of Chinese civilization, especially this mountain, Mount Song, on the southern edge of the basin. It's in Imperial China is considered the central sacred mountain of 5 sacred mountains. Okay, so we're looking at that tradition emerging from 1900 BC with the building of the city, and this city is well preserved in terms of foundations. You'll see its palace design. This is enclosed courtyard with the gate coming in, audience hall. So these palaces, you see, it has a certain orientation. It's pretty much the prototype of the Forbidden City. And in its burials, you again see these.
If anyone doesn't know what the Forbidden City is, it's later where the Chinese emperors basically, there's this humongous like city that a whole bunch of people could live in, but it's only one dude and his concubines and slaves, or eunuchs. With the people, we're going to talk about that real quick too. Our thing. That's why, even though this is all real important, I really wish you could listen to all of it because it backs up a lot of my ideas and stuff. But I do want to talk about all that horror stuff that eunuchs and slavery. So I want to. We're not going to watch as much as I would think would be helpful. So yeah, but I put the links in the video. So in the blog. Sure. So if people, want to go watch the rest, you should watch the whole thing, really.
Fair enough.
So you can go ahead and stop that now. That because we've heard enough to show you this is real important. Remember, this is the start, and then he even said all the capitals keep building it. It's just because it's was always the thing. It was all it was the first, and they just, in a sense, stole the idea and kept it going. So, but anyways, we've already addressed that, like I said. So I want to get on to the reading. It's slavery in China.
Okay, so we've got slavery in China. Slavery is the ownership of a person as property, especially in regards to their labor. Slavery typically involves compulsory work with the slave's location of work and residence dictated by the party that holds them in bondage. Enslavement is the placement of a person into slavery. Many historical cases of enslavement occurred as a result of breaking the law, becoming indebted, suffering a military defeat, or exploitation for cheaper labor. Other forms of slavery were instituted along demographic lines, such as race or sex. Slaves may be kept in bondage for life or for a fixed period of time, after which they could be granted freedom. Although slavery is usually involuntary and involves coercion, there are also cases where people voluntarily enter into slavery to pay a debt or earn money due to poverty. In the course of human history,
wage slavery, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You mean working for minimum wage?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
and not only that, making minimum wage so it's not livable.
Yeah,
and it's not even a fair compensation. They're like, well, of course it is, because I have to make some profit. Yeah, like I guess we have some duty to suffer so that this dude can be opulent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What the fuck? If we all have to suffer, it's not a good thing.
That's right.
Let's teach you some more axiology. That should be simple right there. If we all have to suffer, it's not good.
Yep. In the course of human history, slavery was a typical feature of civilization and was legal in most societies, but is now outlawed.
So hold on a second. Let me just, because I know something I guess I forgot to put in, because that statement's kind of, it was not always around. That's why, going back to that, when that other person I was talking to, she's someone from Asia, and in my blog I explained Shirley, I can't remember the last name, but she feels really strongly that there's evidence of slavery and sexual slavery and stuff. And I was like telling you, I'm not saying it didn't happen. Yes, there might be some evidence, but there's not strong enough evidence. And it's not like it kept, in other words, like if from that point, every figurine had that and spread out from there, oh, that would be pretty convincing.
Right.
But that's not what happened. In fact, even when it went to Siberia, even though I even told you, I already said before that I thought they were sexist.
Right.
Some kind of because they're starting, which is not normal. See, in the West, they had all multiple gender. I mean, West, I mean like Europe. Sorry, I'm talking. So Siberia on one side, and then the other side, Europe or whatever. So Europe, where the stuff came from, started at least, the figurines and all that starts from France, and then goes to Germany, and it goes to like Austria, Czechoslovakia, and then from there, it also goes to Italy, North Italy, and then it goes to Russia. When it gets to Russia, something changes. For the first time, there's male figurines and with female figurines, or what could be, I should say, male-like, because some of these things, they don't have stuffs at all. So, I'm guessing, who knows? But it looks at how they're presented, two of them, it looks like male and female or something. And because I think it also involves sexism, maybe, then it kind of, I think like, oh, okay, maybe it's going, because I think these other people are acting totally different. And I even know later Europe had a whole bunch of genders. So it acts different. But I do know Siberia, I told you before, has also pretty loose, especially in the shamanism, the gender. So, but then again, like I said, Russia might have been just what kind of inspired this, and then it changed again. But it comes to Russia, it's like all female, and it's whatever. Then it gets to Russia, and first time male, and then females look like they're tied up. Then it goes to Siberia, and no more tying up, but still male and female figures, but now also in little figures, which some people, I think, they're archaeologists, and I think they're making too much of a jump when they say that they know those are children. You don't know that. It's just this little, peg piece. It doesn't even have barely even has a form for the head. It's just this, and it's smaller. Okay, it's smaller, but they go, well, those adults are bigger. I'm like, you don't even know those are adults exactly, other than you think. But if you're saying size, what about the ones that are even bigger?
Right.
Are those then the medium children, or are these? I mean, are these the ancestors? I mean, you got to have to explain this more. And I'm all for giving good, opinions or speculations, even if it's reasonable. But it has to make fucking sense.
You got to have some explanation. You can't just say a thing.
Because they're small, that has to be children. I would say no, they could be children. They could be.
Sure.
Not saying, but has to be. Oh no. What if those are their spirit animals or their spirit beings, or they're showing here's the human and then here's their spirit?
Right.
I'm just making a comment. The reason, because they believe in spirits, just saying. They also believe in guardian spirits. What if that's what that is?
Yep. Yep.
What if that's the ancestor that follows them? Just saying. If they hold them, it looks like a little baby. Okay, now you got me sold. It's a child. But just
Right.
a little peg figure that's no different than just straight up and down. It's just smaller. It could be a child. You're right. But it also could be a lot of other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just making a comment that people think about things. It is important to slow down and analyze. Like, well, it's not like it's just a free for all.
Yeah.
or
right.
like I feel like when Graham Hancock loves saying, or people that like Graham Hancock who make the saying, who Graham Hancock's a pseudoscientist or whatever, theorist.
In case you haven't heard
I know the theorist thing because he's not actually an archaeologist or whatever, a scientist. It's just he's a theorist
Right.
about these things, right? So
Yeah.
he thinks about them. I do too. I'm a theorist, but not
Sure.
a pseudo-archaeologist theorist. But anyway,
Yeah.
so one of the things that he says, just to show how logical, or people say that like him, they go, things just keep getting older and older. And I just like
That's how time works. Yeah.
no, but I know shit. No, what he means is like because he tries to say that things are thousands of years older than archaeologists say.
Oh, but that's just not true, right?
Of course, it's not true. Let me finish though. So
Okay.
my point is, so that's his claim. He wants all the things to be older or whatever, right? So, because then he tries to fit his mythology of the white people coming. Remember, we're going to talk about the Americas. We're also going to talk about Graham Hancock. We're going to do a whole video on just him. That comes over the white people, which, this goes back to the book I'm reading. The myth of the fucking white race. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake history. That's what it is. Bullshit, racist crap and propaganda and shit. But anyway, so because just think that they did. Some of the Americans believed that stealing native land was justified because they were the brown savages that had killed the great white race that built all these pyramids. Totally bullshit. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just saying, read this book, dude. You're gonna probably like go, what the shit? There's some horror shit. Yeah, I'm like, there's shit I didn't even realize, but I haven't focused on this kind of stuff, fake history.
It doesn't surprise me that that's what people thought, but yeah.
It's what?
It doesn't surprise me that that's what people thought, but yeah, that's pretty fucking backwards.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, fuck, it's crazy. But so it's really best just to do regular truth. But here's the point. So the fallacy, let's assume that it's older, right? Graham Hancock keeps getting older. It got older because an archaeologist proved that it was older. That's why Corey and me will both go, okay, unless like when I watched that one about the Homo naledi, that show by Lee Berger, I think his name is.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not totally into remembering people's names, but anyways, or not good at it, I should say. But anyways, so or remembering actually names, period. But sometimes, but anyway, so that Lee Berger guy, he made a show on History Channel or something related to Homo naledi, which I do think Homo naledi was intentionally bringing people down there like a cemetery. He says burial. Well, that's different than just placing a body. Mm-hmm. Digging a hole, putting it in, burying it over. That's a lot different behavior.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm cool if it's more advanced. And if there is, that's great. I'll accept it. But when he was explaining, I was watching the show and I'm going, and then he kept saying stuff. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. That's starting to sound like Graham Hancock. If you don't impress us because of the evidence, like sometimes I say things to you and you go, okay, that's true. Like I go, there's no such thing as just rape. There isn't.
Yep.
It doesn't ever have to happen. See, done. It doesn't. Yeah. My point is, so when you start to think of it differently, like I said, if Graham Hancock ever was proven right, it would be because of an archaeologist that did it.
Yeah.
But it can't be because the shit he said already violates shit that archaeologists already know is a fucking fact.
Right.
And DNA says it's, I told you before, I was showing you DNA. I'm like, look, dude, you can all argue about the archaeology. Let me tell you something. DNA has closed this case.
Yeah.
It's a no.
Yeah.
You're fucking wrong. Okay, next. I mean, so yeah, no. Like, see, and the only reason that people can believe it is because they don't grasp this. If they grasp this, it's a no. No. Well, it could be possible. No, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I can
there's no
explain to
could
you
it be
what
possible,
happened.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Corey can help explain to you that there's this cDNA male and the qDNA that go to the Americas that did have a big impact.
yeah.
Rocked America even. But they also didn't teach everybody everything either. Even they had to learn themselves. So it's still wrong to not say the particular branch of Q or particular C invented their own things. That is true. It's not, they weren't even given everything. You guys what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. That did not happen. Because you know why you would know? Because then they would be all the same.
Right.
Like we see with pottery or whatever. You can totally tell when people are copying. There's a thing of other people doing pottery differently and you know it came from somewhere. That's a different thing than when they do exact replica or very similar, you know. So, yeah. People, yeah.
Yeah, like it's like you say, like you can track the timeline that the different DNAs went.
Yes.
And once you can do that, then
it's over.
you cannot claim that, oh, well, what if this one
what
was
if
there?
our DNA went and was ruling everything? Yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah, we know that that's not the case. So
no.
You can what if me all day, but the evidence shows that that's not
They're
correct.
like, well, there was white people. Yeah, that didn't happen. Thank you for playing. That did not happen.
Yeah.
There's not, that's, I'm just yeah, so to me, I know the archaeology can be, you know, not know for sure. The DNA knows for fucking sure.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I trust DNA. Do you say that in court? I don't trust DNA. Yeah.
So you
I trust
don't
enough
know
to get criminals off the hook because of the DNA.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like, do I trust it until they get something better?
Yeah. I trust it when we trusted it when Maury Povich was taking paternity tests on fucking daily talk shows. Like,
no kidding. People were ruining their marriages over it and shit.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Anyways, yeah. So my point is, it's a joke to try to act like, you know, we don't trust DNA. We do. They know. They can break down exactly. They know, like I said, where my family came from, what groups they came from. I found out shit I didn't even know.
Right.
You know, because DNA, here's a clue, Graham Hancock fucking knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving right along.
Yeah. So in the course of human history, slavery was a typical feature of civilization, but it wasn't everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Stop for a second. I'm
right.
sorry. That's why I stopped you.
Right.
Because 12,000 years ago in the Middle East, with the invention of agriculture, which is definitely related to white people coming in who would have been lighter skin or whatever.
Right.
I don't know about white, but lighter skin, already evolving to lighter skin, come into the Middle East and make 50% of the population in Israel, 50% population all the way. So Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, all territories, all the way up to, I don't know about Iraq, but maybe northern Iraq, and little bit of Iran, little bit of maybe Armenia, and whatever. But in some of Turkey, not all, like half, like only the east side.
Okay.
But anyways, that whole area is, to me, it's like 50% R1B. And so and those people came from Lake Baikal, Siberians, with shamanism and all this, and their tools. There's evidence that their tools came from Siberia.
Right.
Their tool, like, because there's people, once again, because people have certain styles. So if they do move in, so Graham Hancock, if their shit was true, there would be evidence, you know, like what we're talking about right now. Evidence. Even the archaeologists do not go, oh well, even though genetics came here, there's no evidence. No, they're like, yeah, we did find stone tools from Siberia, and we now think that Siberians actually kind of related to building Göbekli Tepe. Yeah, that's what Damien said. Because I looked at DNA, I'm like, wait a minute, these people are here, and these people took over 50%. How can they not say they're involved?
Yeah.
Anyways, so you don't have to guess now. I mean, we can, you know, and we can make better guesses in a sense by looking at evidence first, and then guessing about it. Of course, and then making reasonable, not like spaceship, you know. To
yeah, it's like that's how science works. You see, you make an observation, you make a hypothesis, you examine the evidence.
Well, I just feel it's rationalist. That's how you should be breaking up your thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and it certainly is, as an axiologist, I need to demand that I get the evidence. How the hell am I going to make a judgment?
Yeah.
I got to first start with what do you have to offer? And I don't start like I don't know that I should start in doubt or not. I'm in a position of unknowing.
Yeah, until you've like viewed the evidence and gathered the information. Like, how can you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes also I feel some skepticism is warranted, and in the sense because of experience. Like if experience, when people start talking really fast to me, and I don't totally grasp it, and I can totally tell that they're good at talking, I think this motherfucker's a con.
Hold on, I gotta slow this down.
Whoa, this person is conning, and I don't know what the con is worse, because then I'm really clueless.
Yeah,
it's like I one time, me and Shana, my wife, were walking in the fair in California, and in Irvine. It's kind of a nicer neighborhood. And this person walks by, young guy, and he has this big bouquet of flowers, and he tries to give it to me. And I looked at him like, the hell? And then he goes, "Would you hold this?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "You please hold this." And I said, "No, I'm not holding that." And he goes, "Well, I was told to hold this, and I need to do this." And I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that." And I go, "And why do you keep asking me?" You know, it's like, I start to get skeptical, like, I don't know what's going on, but something's going on, because this is not normal behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. You were told to hold this. Who told you to hold this?
Like, this is not my problem.
It's
like,
not.
I don't flowers, put them down then.
Yeah, that's right. Set them on the ground, whatever.
I mean, I'm like, it's not my thing to figure out your problem with the flowers. And I'm like, and I know this is a con. Like, he probably wants me to grab it, and somebody's going to pickpocket me, or somebody behind me, or
right.
I already get it. Something's not right. So I'm talking about being skeptical. Sometimes like some people will say certain things, and I'm already skeptical when they start opening their mouth.
Yeah.
I don't, you know.
Well, and some people, even before they start speaking, because you know their past, you're like, okay, don't even start, because I'm
True. True, right? Yeah. But you get what I'm saying. So I'm just saying that sometimes I feel like it's very reasonable. Going back to like how I do skepticism, it has to be reasoned.
Yeah.
It's reasonable then to do that behavior.
It's funny because I've reached a point with some of the skeptics that when they start talking, I'm like, hold on now. I don't think you're telling the truth.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I think it's good to always think about what you're saying and doing and analyze. I try to self-analyze all the time, because a lot of times also people don't challenge me, you know. But I try to challenge myself before it ever gets to that.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing that I was thinking about this week too, is that like Most people don't actually analyze their own ideas and beliefs.
They don't.
I've been dealing with a lot of trolls on YouTube. This is where a lot of this is coming from. And they just say things. Like, people just say things that are just blatantly untrue, meaning that they've never bothered to look into it.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's keep reading.
All right. So we were at the end of typical feature of civilization, and was legal in most societies. We're not 100% on board with that, I don't think.
Well, that's what I was trying to say, is that
Yeah.
like in human society, that's all I was trying to say, because how it make it sound like, because in society, what do you mean by that?
What's typical?
Are some people not in society?
Right.
See, they bigotedly, they probably mean ever since states.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of fucking at least ethnocentric, if not racist.
It's not the entirety of human history by any stretch.
Right. Exactly. Because once again, thinking of people as primitive. If I go live in a tent now, you're going to call me a primitive?
You're no longer part of society, eh?
But you get what I'm trying to say. Some of there's bigoted language that even they still, do without thinking in science, even sometimes, or in history, explanations or whatever. Yeah. And another thing too is, it's not like it always is that they're doing that, but it can be perceived as that. Like, I just had a discussion with that told you Shirley from China or Taiwan, I can't remember now, but about all this stuff in the past, Siberians and all this, and she's like, oh, she's all mad about them being rapists. And I said, well, I could be, but I feel like saying that we know that all of them are rape victims. It could be an answer. So, but anyways, I told her that she was calling shamanism primitive or whatever, and so I was like, I don't actually like to use that word, because that's kind of like a bigotry word or something, or because like as opposed to what, the good of Christianity,
right?
So, or even like when some atheists do the good of not believing, and so there's not primitive religions; they're all just errors. It's like there's stories of people that keep believing, and we programmed, as children. I feel for them; they're victims of indoctrination. But anyways, I don't use the word primitive, but she was saying she just means primitive as old. But I'm just saying that going again, that sometimes people feel like they're politically correct, right? Or whatever. To me, that's generally meaning that you say fucked up shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because it's generally not calling, because doing this on what I'm saying is generally like, you wouldn't say that someone's saying I shouldn't say capitalism, kills, and that's because it's not politically correct. They wouldn't say that. They would care. Politically correct is really like, I'm not able to say bigotry, and you have to accept it. Otherwise, you're trying to be too politically correct.
Yeah,
you're not
exactly.
actually saying like someone, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, it's like saying like, oh, well, you're being politically correct. Well, that just means that I'm being careful about my language, right? Like, I'm just not using certain words that are offensive.
Right. But I will acknowledge that some of our words, people don't even realize words itself are actually racist.
Yeah.
Or bigoted. Right. There's a thing called, I don't know how many of this book could be correct or whatever. So I don't know. But I read a book because I cared about facts and stuff. It's called The Extraordinary Origins of Everyday Things. It's written a long time ago.
Okay.
At least 30 years or something ago. Anyways, but it has all these different things, explains like, where stuff came from and whatever. And it really helped me understand like how we see a lot of things is coming, like even bubblegum they were talking about somebody stole the idea from people in South America or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I think I've heard that.
Anyways, it was and how to be all these different ideas, come from all these different places. And a lot of times they don't match up with what we currently think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, But one of the things I was wanted to bring up, we do the most really, is he talked about how the curse words were just the difference between the Anglos and the Saxons. The Anglos, in a sense, I think it was the Ingles, which the Ingle land, land of the Ingles.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think it's, which has to do, or maybe it was, if I remember right, but that's correct what I was thinking about. But I can't remember now if the bigotry, because now that I think about it a little more, I can't remember if the bigotry was the Normans. Normans and Saxons? Is that what it is? Something close.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But anyways, like this goes back to like hold your French or whatever.
Okay.
You ever heard that or something, or can't remember, something like that, right?
Something like that.
Some kind of phrase that means don't curse or something, or you did curse, you didn't hold your French.
Pardon my French.
Pardon my French. There you go. Yeah. Right, but the reason it's something that, so I can't remember, it has to do in England, and it has to do with basically French taking over in a sense. And then everything that is spoken in Ingles is, or Saxon, I think is what it is, or is the considered rude and a curse word. Like intercourse was the Norman word, and then the Saxon word would be fuck. So both of them could be said in church.
Right.
Until fuck became a curse word, because it was a low class, other culture word.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking bigotry, and we still love it today. Bigotry all the way. Yeah. What the fuck? Speaking of which,
I just saw some. I don't go on Facebook very much anymore, but I just saw somebody the other day say something about if you use the F word, your IQ drops X number of points, and I just was like, okay, well, fuck you, I'm out. I'm not your friend anymore. Like, you're just going to be one of those fools who judges based on the word. But
I'm just saying that we have. I was talking to my wife about this. I go, what's really hard to me is that they seem to have no problem with kids in violence, and violence does hurt kids.
Yeah.
But they have all the problems in the world about saying curse words, which literally doesn't hurt kids.
Yeah. 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 No, some of the prudish priorities are fucked up. Like, how is it okay to put all this violence in front of children?
Yeah, we have zero. Yeah, we don't have axiology building why we have laws and stuff.
No,
what they call society. Once again, I'm just saying, when they talk about society, I hate how they talk about this, because they really mean states. Most states.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's right.
But also, it's like the word civilization. I mean, yeah, civilization to me is a behavior, not like a building.
Right. Yeah.
So somebody who never builds buildings but has good behavior is civilized to me.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right? I've never built a building. Oh, I can't take it back. I have built some stuff. Okay, never mind. So anyways,
I've worked on house buildings, so it counts.
So did you get my point? My point still is somewhat valid, right?
Yeah, that's valid. Right.
Because I did not I shouldn't have related to myself. But anyways, I'm just saying that we have to let's go back to the slavery stuff though. But I'm just saying, I really don't like when sometimes they use these limiting words for as somehow an elitist way to use bigotry. Anyways, go ahead.
Sure. But it is now outlawed in most countries of the world, except as a punishment for a crime. In chattel slavery, the slave is legally rendered the personal property or chattel of the slave owner. In economics, the term de facto slavery describes the conditions of unfree labor and forced labor that most slaves endure. As a social institution, chattel slavery classes slaves as chattels, personal property owned by the enslaver, like livestock. They can be bought and sold at will. Chattel slavery was practiced in places such as the Roman Empire and classical Greece, where it was considered a keystone of the society. Chattel slavery reached its modern extreme in the Americas during European colonization. Forced labor or unfree labor is sometimes used to describe an individual who is forced to work against their own will, under threat of violence or other punishment.
Pause for a second. So let's just think. The two places that like to hold themselves up as democracy, Greece, that invented democracy supposedly, but still had slaves. And it said an integral part of their culture.
That's right.
Yeah. So not just did states benefit from slavery, it was an integral part of them. Then it comes to the Americas, and what do you know? It was an integral part of America.
The shining beacon on the hill was built on the back of slaves.
That's right. And it was manned. That there was the reason the beacon was manned at night by a slave.
Yeah. But the generic term unfree labor is also used to describe chattel slavery, as well as any other situation in which a person is obliged to work against their own will, and a person's ability to work productively is under the complete control of another person. This may also include institutions not commonly classified as slavery, such as serfdom, conscription, and penal labor. Slaves have been privately owned by individuals, but have also been under state ownership. Slavery predates written records and has existed in many cultures. Slavery is rare among hunter-gatherer populations because it requires economic surpluses and a substantial population density, though also it has existed among unusually resource-rich hunter-gatherers, such as the American Indian peoples of the salmon-rich rivers of the Pacific Northwest coast. Slavery became widespread only with the invention of agriculture during the Neolithic Revolution about 11,000 years ago. Slavery was practiced in almost every ancient civilization. That's a statement that it just says.
I know.
That's weird. Okay. Such institutions included debt bondage, punishment for crime, the enslavement of prisoners of war, child abandonment, and the enslavement of slaves' offspring. Slavery existed in ancient China as early as the Shang dynasty. Slavery was employed largely by governments as a means of maintaining a public labor force. Many Han Chinese were enslaved in the process of the Mongol invasion of China proper. According to Japanese historians Sugiyama Masaki and Funada Yoshiyuki, Mongolian slaves were owned by Han Chinese during the Yuan dynasty. Slavery has taken various forms throughout China's history. It was reportedly abolished as a legally recognized institution, including a 1909 law fully enacted in 1910, although the practice continued until at least 1949. The Tang dynasty purchased Western slaves from the Radhanite Jews. Tang Chinese soldiers and pirates enslaved Koreans, Turks, Persians, Indonesians, and people from Inner Mongolia, Central Asia, and northern India. The greatest source of slaves came from southern tribes, including Thai and Aboriginals from the southern provinces of Fujian and Guangdong, and Zhuangzi and Zhuangzhou, Malays, Khmer, Indians, and the black-skinned peoples who were neither Austronesian.
They're called a lot of times Negritos.
Negritos, okay, of Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands, or Africans, or both.
And I wanted to mention something about those right there. So the Negritos, people thought like they came from Africa. They're super dark, right? They did come from Africa, but hold on a second. But they actually come from Africa, like, I don't know, 50 or 60,000 years ago, whatever. They're like, they just didn't ever change in a sense. Okay. But they also, because they're removed from Africa, they're only like 30,000 years mixed or removed from like Europeans. But yet they're super dark. I'm just saying to show you the difference in like things, that even though they're super close, they're actually closer to Europeans 30,000 years ago than they are to Africans.
Right.
Now, so I mean, they're removed, but they look like, you know,
they're still dark skinned and
yeah. So, but anyways, my point is, it's because people just think like maybe they were slaves or something. They don't belong there or wherever. No, actually, those are the indigenous people. Yeah,
of course
they got there 50 to 60,000 years ago. I think that makes them pretty indigenous.
Yeah, that counts as they lived there for a long. That's right. Their land, essentially.
So they act like who are these people? They are the indigenous people. That's who they are.
That's right.
They go, well, if they're black, they're from Africa. They're from Africa like 60,000 years ago. Okay?
Yeah.
Why are they?
They're from Africa, like you're from Africa.
Yeah, exactly. They're no kidding. Right. Yeah. So, but once again, that's because people are racist and stupid. So there's a lot of racism against and persecution against the Negritos, and of course they should have owned those islands of Philippines and all that. Right. Or certainly been allowed to be caretakers part of it. You know, not like Native Americans pushed off to like, you know, almost death.
Right.
You know, and acting like they don't belong there. They literally do belong there. Yeah. Anyways, just saying who they are, because I know more about, you know.
Fair. Yep, for sure. So they were purchased as slaves in the Tang Dynasty. In the 17th century Qing Dynasty, there was a hereditarily servile people called Buyai Aha. And then, there's a Manchu Bui Nyalma, Chinese transliteration. Oh, I cannot read Chinese, which is a Manchu word literally translated as household person and sometimes rendered as nukai. The Manchu was establishing a close personal and paternalist relationship between masters and their slaves, as Nurachi said. The master should love the slave and eat the same food as him. However, Bui Aha did not correspond exactly to the Chinese category of bond-servant slave. Instead, it was a relationship of personal dependency on a master, which in theory guaranteed close personal relationship and equal treatment, even though many Western scholars would directly translate Bui as bond-servant. Some of the Bui even had their own servants. Chinese Muslim.
Hold on a second. That actually doesn't. That's like capitalism. Well, I have a boss. The fuck does that matter?
Yeah, that's right. Like, the boss has a boss. Wow. So who gives a shit? Like, you're still like,
Like, I'm not part of capitalism. I'm a worker. You're a boss, dude.
So you own the means of production. You are a boss, even if you also work for a boss. Yeah,
or even if they let's just say that they were workers, right? Then is your loyalty to the workers or is it to the boss?
Right.
Your loyalty is to the boss.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like a CEO.
Yeah,
is a boss.
Yeah.
They don't count as workers, but
I'm just saying these.
Chinese Muslim.
Anyways, we could talk more about that some more time, but yeah,
sure. Chinese Muslim Tungans, Sufis, who were charged in practicing Zhejiao, the heterodox religion, were punished by exile to Xinjiang and being sold as a slave to other Muslims, such as the Sufi begs. Han Chinese, who committed crimes such as those dealing with opium, became slaves to the begs. This practice was administered by Qing law. Most Chinese in Al-Tishaher were exile slaves to Turkestani begs.
Just think how messed up that is. You have to become a slave for life because you are on drugs? Damn.
Yeah. Not cool.
Yeah, whatever. Should be legal. People do stuff to their own body. Yeah, that should be legal.
That's right. While free Chinese merchants generally did not engage in relationships with East Turkestani women, some of the Chinese slaves belonging to begs, along with Greek standard soldiers, bannermen, and Manchus, engaged in affairs with the East Turkestani women that were serious in nature. In Chinese society, slaves were grouped under a category of people known as, the Jianmin, which means base or mean. Direct equivalents of chattel slavery did not exist in ancient China. During the Shang dynasty and Zhou dynasty, slaves generally consisted of war captives or criminals, although peasants lived in a similar condition of perpetual servitude and were unable to leave their land or own it.
So they're a slave too.
Yeah, how is that not a slave?
I mean, don't you love how they go, well, see, but these are not slavery, Damien. Get the fuck out of here.
We're just not going to call this slavery. We're going to call this something else.
But because, of course, it's more ethical. Yeah.
Somehow.
Shouldn't exist. That would be ethical.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's start with that.
Some people deliberately became slaves to escape imperial taxation, but they were still considered to be higher in status than traditional slaves and inhabited a position somewhere between a slave and a commoner. From the Qin dynasty to Tang dynasty, slavery expanded beyond criminals and war captives. The Qin used large-scale slave labor for public works such as land reclamation, road construction, and canal building. Slavery declined during the economic boom of the Song dynasty in the 12th century. Advances in fertilizer, hydraulic, and agricultural technologies allowed the plantation of commercial crops such as medical herbs, mulberry, and cotton. The small land-to-population ratio enticed slaves to run away and seek better employment. During the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty and Manchu-led Qing dynasty, slavery of Chinese increased. These Chinese slaves to Mongols or Manchus were called bondsmen and became personal retainers of their imperial overlords. Some attained high positions and led other Chinese slaves.
Pause for a second. And I've heard so many people try to defend Chinese slavery because you can get to a high position. They also defend when you cut your genitals off, eunuchs, because they still let them get high positions. They even overthrew the king. Kid, what? Dude, that doesn't make cutting their dick off okay.
No.
And making them a slave their whole fucking life. Like, what? No. What the fuck? Anyway.
That's a bizarre justification.
Yeah. I've had people say it to me. It's just, I just go, what the fuck? You learn axiology. Gosh, man.
Right.
Fuck.
In the 19th century, due to concerted efforts to end the African slave trade, large numbers of Chinese laborers, known as coolies, were exported to replace slave labor. They were transported in cargo ships with conditions and practices nearly identical to the former African slave trade. Visitors to late 19th century China found little difference between the poor, free, and the slaves, both of which were treated as hired laborers. A handful of emperors and officials throughout Chinese history have made efforts to limit or outlaw slavery. None were successful. In 100 BCE, the Confucian scholar Dong Zhongshu advised Emperor Wu of Han to limit the amount of land and slaves that people could own. In 9 CE, Wang Mang ordered the nationalization of large estates and the redistribution to farmers. Part of his reform was changing the institution of slavery so that they would become taxpayers, since some impoverished farmers sold themselves or their children into slavery. In the 13th century CE, the jurist Ma Duanlin promulgated a policy limiting the number of slaves owned by officials and commoners to 30. In the 14th century, the Hongwu emperor ordered an end to all slavery, but in practice, slavery continued without heed to his commands. In the 18th century, the Yongzheng emperor made similar attempts to abolish slavery. In 1909, the king officially abolished slavery, but due to internal turmoil and its demise, the institution persisted until 1949 when the People's Republic of China was founded.
Yep. So China is.
It was the communists that finally ended slavery in China.
Corey's like, you're not going to make me hate the communists now.
You know, all your anti-communist nonsense is still just nonsense.
All right, let's read the eunuchs in China.
All right, eunuchs in China. A eunuch is a castrated man. The earliest records for intentional castration to produce eunuchs are from the Sumerian city of Lagash in the 2nd millennium BCE, or around 4,000 years ago.
Right, so they got their kingship, I think it's 4,500 or something, or 400 or 300. It's
okay.
Yeah, maybe even 4,100. I don't know. It's can't remember.
So then somehow over the following 500 years, they developed this thing where they started castrating people.
Well, because I think that it has to do with they were centralizing power into kingships and stuff and emperors. And of course, you're emperor and you're a fucking dickhead. You're like, I need to have a bunch of women to rape. So that's when you get like 300, 600 wives. In the Bible, remember it talks about the King Solomon, I think it is. Solomon's temple, remember the king? But he had like 300 wives and 600 concubines. So like 900 women. That's what I'm saying. It's because it's this whole idea. I'm special. I need to have fucking, ridiculous.
I must have unrestricted access to it, whatever woman I want, whenever I want.
Right. So I'm just saying
bizarre.
that it is sick and bizarre. I'm just saying. So that's the similar thing. So when a king they'd always talk about, oh, civilization started in Mesopotamia, right? So when the kings and stuff started. And then little after that, they're already, doing for sure, this bullshit, cutting people's freaking genitals off.
Right.
Why? Because then no man can fuck your women. So any man that's around
there's no temptation around. So
yeah.
Here's
the thing, though, Corey. Did you know that people don't need a dick to fall in love?
I did, in fact, know that.
It can happen. It can happen.
Yep.
So. Once again, cutting off their dick, even balls, does not stop them from being a human being that still wants love.
Yeah.
So they can still engage in sexual actions with a female or male. But I mean, I'm just saying that
there's lots of things that don't involve the penis.
You see that? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
So
it was a little short-sighted of them.
Right. Because in the long run, it's still, yes. So my point is, then several of them, even in China, where they killed a bunch of them, like 700, 800, because they thought that they probably were having sex with his wives.
Mm-hmm.
But because he believed you have a penis means you don't. So this whole thought that once again, like even people with trans and stuff. People that have these such bigoted opinions, and they're always ignorant. Even like you said, how stupid this guy thinks that just because you cut someone's dick off, that they don't want to love anymore, or that and then so I'm saying, it just people are just stupid. But anyways, so let's keep reading. So you asked like where it came from or why, but that's
okay. Over the millennia since, they have performed a wide variety of functions in many different cultures. Courtiers or equivalent domestics for espionage or clandestine operations, castrato singers, concubines or sexual partners, religious specialists, soldiers, royal guards, government officials, and guardians of women or harem servants. Eunuchs would usually be servants or slaves who had been castrated to make them less threatening servants of a royal court, where physical access to the ruler could wield great influence. Castration has had a social function in history. That's just a pair of sentence. That's just the sentence. Castration has had a social function in history. Okay.
Corey's like, oh,
what the fuck? In China, castration included the removal of the penis and the testicles, emasculation. A knife removed both organs at the same time. Eunuchs have existed in China since about 146 CE, during the reign of Emperor Huan of Han, and were common as civil servants in the by the Qing dynasty. From the 5 punishments, one of the 5 punishments. No, or did I? Oh no! From the ancient times to the Sui dynasty, castration was a traditional punishment, one of the 5 punishments, and means of gaining employment in the imperial service. Some eunuchs, such as the Ming dynasty official Zheng He, gained power that superseded that of the grand secretaries. Self-castration was not uncommon, although it was not always performed thoroughly and was later banned. Eunuchs were employed as high-ranking civil servants because they could not have children, so they were not tempted to seize power and began a dynasty. They were also used to guard the emperor's wives and concubines. In addition, many in the palace considered eunuchs more reliable than scholar officials. Finally, as a symbolic assignment of divine authority in the palace system, a constellation of stars was designated as the emperor's. West of the constellation, 4 stars were known as his eunuchs. The tension between eunuchs in the service of the emperor and virtuous Confucian officials is a familiar theme in Chinese history. In his History of Government, Samuel Feiner writes that reality often needs to be clearly defined. The emperor valued capable eunuchs as advisors, and resistance from virtuous officials often stemmed from jealousy. Ray Huang says that eunuchs represented the personal will of the emperor, and the officials represented the political will of the bureaucracy. A clash between them would have been a clash of ideologies or political agendas. The number of eunuchs in imperial employment fell by 470 by 1912. The Chinese government abolished the eunuch system on November 5th, 1924. The last imperial eunuch, Sun Yaoting, died in December 1996. Jesus Christ.
That crazy?
That's crazy. I just started rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That first season was 1996. That's 28 years ago. I was, 18 in 1996? Yeah, that's right.
Crazy, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking states.
Weird.
See, did you learn anything today?
I learned a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I think so far. Yeah, that's bizarre. Like, I mean, I always kind of knew that eunuchs were a thing, right? But I didn't really realize, especially related to China, I didn't know any of the details about that. And like, kind of the, I don't know, that line still kills me. Like, what was it? Eunuchs had a social purpose or whatever it was.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's so weird. Yeah. All right. Qin 221 to 206 BCE and Han dynasties 202 BCE to 9 CE and 25 to 220 CE. Men sentenced to castration became eunuch slaves in the Qin dynasty, performing forced labor for projects such as the Terracotta Army. The Qin,
which you've heard of, right?
Yeah, that's like
famous.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty famous. It's the army that's made out of terracotta or whatever.
Right.
Clay.
Right. So this is relating to things that you know.
Yeah, like that's actually like in movies and shit.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, finally, stuff that they were talking about.
This might be in my brain somewhere. Yeah. The Qin government confiscated the property and enslaved and castrated the families of rapists as punishment. In Han Dynasty China, references to castration were gongxing.
Well, I'm totally against castrating rapists, but
yeah,
if you're going to be castrating someone, it's less offensive to me that it's a rapist.
Right. Yeah. I don't think anybody should be castrated, but if you're
But
going
did
to.
you see it's the rapist families get castrated?
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
That's fucked
Enslaved
up.
and castrated the families of rapists.
See what I'm saying? Damn, that is fucked up. What the fuck?
That's
You're like,
weird.
I hate the fucker too.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Very strange.
Yeah, I'm fucked up.
I don't understand. Like, I guess how do you even justify that? It's very strange.
It's like horrid. What the shit? Damn. The families, like,
Yeah, eh?
Fucking fuck.
Why? So his kids, like,
Damn.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess. Holy fuck, that is horrid as shit.
fuck.
Fucking.
What about his
society.
brother
Hold
or
on.
his dad? Like,
This
what?
is civilization, Corey. Do not say anything bad.
Yeah, right, eh?
Against
They
civilization.
believed it was right, so it must be
Oh,
right.
yeah. Well, exactly. I don't even know
What?
what your issue is. They thought it was okay.
Ugh, no. In Han
Corey's like,
Dynasty.
the shit that Damien makes me read.
Yeah, sometimes I gotta go, what the fuck is going on here? So yeah, in Han Dynasty China, references to castration were Gong Xing or Fuxing. So either palace punishment or rotting punishment, and euphemistically as being sent to the silkworm house, referring to the new castrate's confinement in a room like a silkworm to prevent infection and death. In addition, punished castrated men during the Han Dynasty were used for slave labor. Notable men.
So you get fucking castrated and then you're also a slave.
Yeah, eh?
Damn.
Pretty heinous punishment.
Damn.
Some notable men castrated under Han law included historian Sima Qian was charged with dissent and castrated. Dissent. If that was a law in modern times, we would be charged with dissent.
Oh yes.
That would be us.
Yeah. That's wow.
Just a historian.
Well, no, the fascists want to make that a law.
Wow, that's true.
Fucking for sure. Dissent.
Yeah.
Just going back. Remember that one person said that Fetterman or whatever his name is, Minnesota or something.
Yep.
Democrat, and he said that that's it. You can't criticize, Biden.
Oh yeah.
Fuck,
What
yeah.
the fuck?
Fuck the fuck.
There's something wrong with that dude.
Oh, you can't have dissent? Dude, when you outlaw dissent, there's a name for that. It's called fascism.
Yeah.
Saying you can't dissent? What the fuck?
I'm not a big fan of America the country. But what the fuck do you think it was built on? Like, it literally was made from dissent. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
It is nonsense. It's just the dissent they approve of. That's all.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of course they do go to other countries. They want communist countries to dissent and turn into capitalists.
Yep.
So they're actively trying to do that.
Yep.
And you don't like dissent either.
Yeah, that's right.
But the problem also is reactionaries, like the Trump supporters that stormed the White House are fucking, someone goes, oh, I support anything that's against the government. I don't. I don't support fucking Nazis taking over. What the fuck? No.
And also that's not true. Like, they don't support anything that's against the government. They don't.
Well, that's true. They just want the government to be white supremacists. That's
exactly.
So I'm saying they're reactionary. They're not actually caring for revolution to any kind of, equality. Fuck no. And I agree with you. They also not like me. They want the government. In fact, they want the government to be more racist.
Yeah, and more authoritarian.
More
homophobic. Yeah,
they want it more homophobic too. They want a Christian nationalism. Really, let's just call it what it is.
That's right. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, which is horror and scary. But anyways, let's keep reading.
Sure. So then also Emperor Wu ordered the castration of a prince of Lulan, Kingdom Xinjiang, as punishment for breaking a law. We don't know which one. Zhang He, the older brother of Zhang Anshi, had been sentenced
Wouldn't
to
that suck
death.
if it was any law?
Right,
Whoa.
like just like jaywalking. Like, fuck you, castration.
You fucking you steal a pack of gum and you get castrated. Fuck.
Fuck.
But then again, a rapist's entire family gets
Yeah,
castrated.
that's right.
We're not talking justice here.
No, this is, I don't know what the fuck you call this.
Injustice.
Yeah. Zhang He, the older brother of Zhang Anshi, had been sentenced to death but was castrated when his brother pleaded for a commuted castration sentence.
Oh, so he got castrated for asking for leniency?
No, he was sentenced to death, but then his brother got him castrated instead.
Oh, I thought you were saying the brother got castrated for asking for leniency. Like, wow, woo.
Yeah, that would suck.
That would suck. Wow, talk about injustice. You can't even try to talk for the victim, the person that's going to be executed. Fuck.
Yeah. Li Yannian suffered punishment by castration for a crime. Doesn't say which one. Envoy Gaidu or Kitu, Envoy Kitu was castrated for not killing the mad king of the Wu Sun, instead helping the king by supplying doctors to cure his illness.
Wow, that almost sounds like anti-science.
Yeah, like he went and got doctors to help him not be mad anymore.
Yeah.
And got castrated for it.
Yeah.
And Su Wen suffered castration for supporting Prince Liu Fuling and his mother, Lady Zhao, against Liu Ju, or the crown prince of Wei, and his mother, Wei Zifu. Near the end of the Han Dynasty in 189, a group of eunuchs known as the 10 Attendants gained considerable power in the imperial court. Several warlords planned their murder to restore the emperor's government. The loyalist warlord He Jin was lured into a trap in the palace and killed by the eunuchs. The other warlords, led by Yuan Shao, stormed the court and massacred the 10 attendants and many other eunuchs. In the wake of the fighting, Dong Zhuo seized power. Castration was abolished twice as a punishment under the Han Dynasty, before 167 BCE and then during the 110s CE. Northern Wei 386 to 535 CE and Northern Qi 550 to 577 CE dynasties. In 446 CE, the Northern Wei crushed an ethnic Qiang rebellion. Wang Yu was a castrated Qiang eunuch who may have undergone castration during the uprising, as the Northern Wei frequently castrated elite young Qiang. He was born in the town of Lirun in Fengyi Prefecture, which is present-day Chengcheng County. Wang Yu, a Buddhist, had a temple built at his birthplace in 488. The Northern Wei had young sons of rebels and traitors castrated, forcing them to serve in the palace as eunuchs. Notable survivors of this practice include Liu Sui, Yuan Chao, Duan Ba, Wang Zi, Liu Teng, and Sun Shao. The Northern Qi, Gao Huan, had Shu Liu castrated and made a messenger eunuch because his father, Fan Quan, remained loyal to the Northern Wei. The Northern Wei presented northern wives to Liu Song generals Kumo and Shenmo. Shenmo had a son, Ling Du, and fled back to Liu Song in retaliation. The Northern Wei, in retaliation, the Northern Wei castrated Ling Du. Ku Mo never returned south, and his northern son escaped punishment. The eunuch Zhong A killed 2 northern Wei emperors and a prince. The empress Dowager Hu, northern Qi, mourned for the eunuch Meng Luan. She reportedly engaged in sexual relations with her eunuchs. Traditional historians use the term xiexia, or immoral games, rather than adultery, to describe her acts with them.
Right, because some people think that if you don't have a penis, you can't have sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also wrong.
So you got to call it something else.
Yeah. Foolishness.
Yeah.
What's is? Remember Bill Clinton did that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It depends what you think is.
Yeah, come on. Just people, that's just people do using semantic games to not just to say the plain truth.
Yeah.
I prefer more of the plain truth. Just say it. Talk about it.
For sure. The Sioux, 581 to 618 CE, and Tang dynasties, 618 to 907 CE. Indigenous people from southern China endured castration for use as eunuchs during the Sioux and Tang dynasties. For example,
pause for a second.
Yep.
Do you see how the one before, the ethnic people were getting, because they did ethnic rebellion, right? So the ethnic people or the indigenous people were not liking what was going on, and then here we are again. Who's getting hurt again? Indigenous people again.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just saying, like, people's the history is indigenous people have seriously suffered at the hand of these people that call themselves civilizers.
Yeah, yeah.
I keep reading. I'm just showing you that it doesn't even matter where we're at. We can go any place in the world, and a lot of times the indigenous people are freaking suffering with these colonizers thinking themselves civilized.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, it's almost the standard, right? Like,
I'm just saying. Even this is China, but yet, is it not the same colonizer bullshit?
Yeah.
Same imperialist mindset, same statist emperor bullcrap mindset. It always seems to be indigenous people have to fucking suffer, and we call these kings great.
Yeah, that's right. It's always the so-called civilized societies that are always committing genocide and
against
carrying out harms. Yeah, against the indigenous people, who we call primitive.
Right. And know why? Because then it's okay that we genocide them.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Not okay. Like the one person I blocked, they had a whole bunch of it was supposed to be Gazan children in a trash can. And they're like they're trying to get food or something, Yeah. And I blocked the person.
Some of the cartoons that are coming out of Israeli or Zionist kind of papers or websites, it's pretty awful stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking awful. Like, I'm done with you. Fucking bye-bye.
For sure.
What the holy fuck?
Yeah.
Anyways, but I'm just saying, showing you that isn't it crazy? We already know this inherently as anarchists anyways.
Yeah, that's right.
None of this is like, we're like, oh, world shattering. I gotta change my whole scheme. We're like going, okay, more proof.
Yeah, that's right. Just more evidence on the pile of states are bad, emperors are bad, rulers are bad.
Right? It's like the real. I think history is important because it just shows us we got to fight back. Because look, do we really want this? Because remember, it's always going to slide back to that. Because that's just what they do. It's similar. It's always going to be something similar. Always.
Yeah, it's always about torture or murder as a means of control, right? It's always violence as a means of control.
So it's gonna happen again.
Yeah. No, it's never ends.
But we have to, just tell the plain truth, like the anarchists told us, in the 1900s.
Yep, that's right.
teach this stuff. Just teach the plain truth. That's without dogma. That is what we should try to do.
Yeah.
And I try to do it also is help people reason why what we're saying is reasonable, because that helps them grasp the axiology. Because I think once you grasp that, like the light, it's kind of hard to have the light not on when you've already is on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah. I guess the rebel and Lushan had a Khitan eunuch named Li Zur or Li Chuer when he was a teenager. Lushan used a sword to cut off Chuer's genitals, nearly killing him from blood loss and reviving him after putting ashes on his injury. Chuer then served Lushan for life and was highly trusted by him, frequently aiding the obese Lushan at home and in the Huangqing or Huanqing steam baths. Lushan developed a skin disease and became blind and paranoid later in life, which prompted him to flog and murder his subordinates. Lushan's enemies convinced Chuer and Yan Chuang to assassinate him, and Chuer disemboweled Lushan. Okay.
You're like, wow, what positive stories.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's read about some more emperors.
Yeah, geez, eh? Liao, 916 to 1125 CE, Jin, 1115 to 1234 CE, and Yuan, 1271 to 1368 CE dynasties. The Liao, Jin, and Yuan dynasties regularly castrated enemy prisoners of war under age 10, forcing them to serve royalty
Think how
or
messed up
esteemed.
that is.
Yeah.
Age
So then they,
10.
yeah.
Fuck. These are kids.
Yeah. And then forcing them to serve royalty or esteemed citizens. As a result, the war created many opportunities for men and women to kidnap the young sons of enemy combatants and elite civilians. Khitan of Liao dynasty, women would fight beside men in combat, and these women took advantage of the number of captured young prisoners of war to fill their palaces with prepubescent eunuchs. These young eunuchs were domestic enslaved people, frequently serving harems of royal women, titled ladies of the court and concubines, and had no political or social power. The Khitans captured Chinese eunuchs at the Jin court after the later Jin invasion. Their war with the Song dynasty helped the Khitans to create more eunuchs. The Khitan Empress Dowager Chengtian led a raid on China and captured 100 young, under the age of 10, attractive Han Chinese boys to make into eunuchs. One of these eunuchs was Wang Jian, another was Zhao Anren. Notable Jin dynasty eunuchs were Liang Chong and Song Gui. Unlike the dynasties which rose and fell before theirs, the Khitans enacted an ordinance permitting castration in 962 after the rape of a foot soldier's young daughter during the reign of Emperor Muzong of Liao. The rapist, an uncle of an imperial consort, was castrated and enslaved to his victim for life.
Whoa. Why for the victim, though? The victim, why wouldn't you think that you would have nothing to do with that fucker?
Right, eh?
Now you're like basically this fucker's latched to you forever? How disgusting.
Yeah.
Some of these rules are really weird.
Yeah, no kidding.
But then again, if you don't have some ethics to what you're making laws, you can just make shit up.
I guess, eh?
Horrid or not.
Yeah.
No, that's why, to me, like I said, I'm not against laws if they were actually ethical and reasonable and humanistic, not this travesty to justice that we call laws.
Yeah.
Where some of this shit is I would never agree to ever.
And with I would prefer Obviously, not the system of carceral imprisonment that we have now, right?
Oh, I told you, I see all crime as a mental health issue, in that we can help people get out of bad, harmful behavior with counseling, in
Yeah,
a sense. And that doesn't
yeah,
mean that I think that we should stick. Some people I don't think ever can come out safely, because they could be like someone who really likes to, rape children cannot be let in the public.
right,
But
right.
I still think they should have counseling, and they should be, not harmed or killed. I mean, it just
Yeah,
because of
and
us, not because of them.
that's what, like, I always think of, like, when a crime is committed, almost no matter how bad it is, you have to stop and ask the question, why did that happen? You can't just be like, oh, this person is a criminal, so we write them off and throw them in jail. You have to ask, how do we, like, what caused this? There's a cause and effect, right? So then,
Definitely, like in a lot of cases, certainly. Like in my case, I don't have a desire to be harmful and stuff inside, like a natural,
right,
part of myself. It's because of abuse.
yeah.
It's
So
a PTSD response to abuse, where I get
yeah,
abused so much, like a wild animal. Keep poking with the stick. Go ahead and stick your hand there, Corey.
right.
See what will happen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You
So
may not have a hand.
that's right. So if you honestly analyze, like, where these things come, what's the cause for the effect, then you can actually
that's what
solve
my
things.
thought is too. Is even, let's just assume we can't learn, because not like in counseling. I do agree that is a goal a lot of times, but that's like a higher level kind of counseling that takes years or whatever.
Right.
There's also solution focus. I don't know if you know this now, but there's solution focus, where you help someone in that moment. Sometimes one time you talk to them once, that's it.
Right.
In a sense. So, because they may not come back or whatever, and their life may be on the line. And if you don't do that one thing, then, they might go kill themselves or go hurt someone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, so you need to do this. I mean, of course, if they tell you you're going to hurt someone, you know it. You, of course, turn them into the police. But what if they don't exactly do it, but they hint at it so much you just know it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then what can you do? Well, so the point is that you need to try to be able to help people. My point is, even somebody. Yeah. So, and the first thing to me, like I've talked to people and kind of reasoned them, even when they're on drugs, drunk, whatever. It's not the issue to when you can do like what I do with axiology, moral and value reasoned. The other people can grasp there's a value.
Yeah.
And when they do that, like I said, it's like a light. You go, well, I see it now.
Yeah. Well, and like too, like a lot of crime is a crime of like material conditions too, right? Like,
well, true, but exactly. If you made sure people didn't have to have a house and a car, get around or whatever, food, water, it would be a real issue, that it eliminates a lot of things, because a lot of things, it's like if people talk, people are inherently bad. No, people are inherently selfish in that they want to care for self, but that's actually all things. That's not all things are that way. Guess what? Yeah. All things would like to be free. It's nothing new. Even trees would like to not be in a planter box.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I'm just making a comment that so it's not a natural state for us to be not free, but a lot of people can make all kinds of excuses. But also they also will say things like, we'll care about democracy, but they don't really have democracy. No. Even if they let's say everyone was vote counted. Yeah, but you're still picking someone else that then does stuff, and you don't agree with all the stuff they're saying. And guess what? None of us do.
Yeah, that's right.
Yet
they got put into they got somehow put into this role as a representative of a bunch of people, and they just refuse to do the things that those people want.
Just think, no one that I've heard, I've listened to all kinds of news, right? No one that I've heard, even from the right, has said support Israel with no red line. Nobody.
Absurd.
Literally nobody said that. Maybe Trump said it. I don't know. He's a fucking insane person too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that certainly is not all of us. We all don't think that. I don't not heard a lot of people saying that.
No.
No red line. No ethics matter at all. None. Zero. They could literally just start napalming all of fucking Gaza, and you'd be like, well, you know,
right. We got to give them more bombs. We got to help them out.
Well, I'm not saying send more napalm, but let's send more napalm.
Yeah.
You know, what can I do? They're just going to have to burn the place, and then they'll just rebuild. You know, you're like, what? Yeah. But anyway, so if you don't have any standards or any values that you stick to, and like I said, even if we all were picking, that's not what everybody thinks. In fact, nobody said that.
Yeah.
Or very few, just the freaking fanatical people that are insane and are saying shit like that. Nothing could stop me. It's like, to me, even if I had a child and someone says, was there no red line where you would feel that you have to, you know, stop your child from harming others? I'm like, yes, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like what? I will support my child in, you know, many, many, many ways, but there are lines.
But I won't do that. Yeah. Whoa. No, because I care about humanity. It's like, well, your son is a rapist, murderer, you know, racist. You're like, well, I can work with that. No. Yeah. No, exactly. I cannot.
Exactly.
So, but yeah. We have to have red lines or things that matter. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. There's no such. It's just.
Or bizarre. Certainly don't call him the great and kind and wonderful, and those words don't belong to someone who can say that.
No, that's such a bizarre way of looking at things.
Horrid.
I can't even wrap my head around it, honestly.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right.
A nation run by psychopaths, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, not cool.
Ming Dynasty.
Right, Ming Dynasty.
Well, of course, you know the most disgusting is listen to the news, still call it sweet and great and kind and like, what?
In what way, right?
That literally, when somebody, especially this is even worse, after you hear the call, I went and heard. You heard Muslims say, you heard youth say, you know, stop the genocide or whatever. You know other people care. You even have said 30,000 people is too many. You've said this your own words. And then your conclusion is, but yeah, no, fuck them.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
bizarre.
What? And then, that's definitely a good person. Like, I'm sorry, I was just saying, kind of irritates me. You know.
Yep. All right, Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644. Castration became a banned legal punishment at the end of Ming Teizu's reign, the first Ming emperor who reigned over eunuchs from Mongolian, Korea, Vietnamese, Cambodian, Central Asian, Thai, and Okinawan tribes. There were also Korean, Jurchen, Mongolian, Central Asian, and Vietnamese eunuchs under the Yongle emperor, including Mongol eunuchs who served him when he was the Prince of Yan. Muslim and Mongol eunuchs were in the Ming court, such as those captured from Mongol-controlled Yunnan in 1381. Among them was the Ming maritime explorer Zheng He, who served Yongle. The Ming court sent Muslim eunuchs as ambassadors to the Timurids. Vietnamese eunuchs, including Ruan Lang, Ruan An, Phan Hong, Chen Wu, and Wang Jin, were sent by Zhang Fu. Korea sent 198 eunuchs, many from Southeast Asia and Korea, to Ming Teizu before ending human tribute in 1435. By the late Ming Dynasty, nearly 80% of eunuchs came from North China, primarily the Beijing region. And then we're on to violence in surrounding countries. Ming Tezu had a contentious relationship with the Korean Joseon dynasty, often competing for influence over the Jurchens and in Manchuria. Korean-born Ming eunuch ambassadors flogged Korean officials due to their unmet demands. Ambassadors were sometimes arrogant. In 1398, a drunk Sin Kui Sang brandished a knife in the king's presence at dinner. Sino-Korean relations later became amiable, and the Koreans' envoy seat at the Ming court was the highest of the tributaries. The Jurchen eunuch explorer Yeshiha lived during the Yongle Emperor's reign. During the Miao rebellions, the Ming governor castrated thousands of Miao boys and gave them to officials as enslaved people. However, Emperor Yingzong of Ming reprimanded him. Prince Zhu Shuang had several Tibetan boys castrated and Tibetan women seized after a war against the Tibetans. He was a denounced prince after his death. During the Li dynasty, Vietnamese Emperor Li Thanh Tong cracked down on foreign contacts and enforced isolationism. His policies affected trade between Guangdong, Leizhou Peninsula and Hainan, and Vietnam, with accounts of captured Chinese sailors blown off course being captured and castrated to become slaves of the Vietnamese. Malay envoys from the Malacca Sultanate were attacked and captured in 1469 by the Vietnamese Navy as they returned from Malacca from China. To Malacca from China. The Vietnamese enslaved and castrated the young captives. In 1499, or a 1499 entry in Ming Shilu, or in the Ming Shilu, reported that during the 1460s, under the Changhua Emperor, 1464 to 1487 AD, 13 Chinese men from Wangchang, including Wu Rui, were captured by the Vietnamese after their ship was blown off course from Hainan to Guangdong's Kin subprefecture, Kinzu, and landed near the coast of Vietnam. The emperor enslaved 12 of the 13 sailors as agricultural laborers. The youngest Chinese man, Wu Rui, was selected by the Vietnamese court for castration and became a eunuch at the imperial citadel of Thang Long for nearly 25 years.
Yeah, and just think, that's from just being a sailor, not doing anything wrong.
Right,
just
yeah.
going off course and then being enslaved or castrated. Damn.
Yeah, didn't actually commit any crime. Just too fucking bad.
Just working. Like, hey, dude, nice work here.
Yeah. After the death of Li Thanh Tong in 1497, Wu Rui became a military superintendent in northern Vietnam. An Lang Song guard told him about a route back to China, and Rui escaped to Longzhou after walking for 9 days through the mountains. Local ethnic minority Tusi chief Wei Chen took him into custody, overruling objections from his family, who wanted to return him to Vietnam. Learning about his escape and fearing that he would reveal Vietnamese state secrets, officials sent an agent to repurchase Rui from Wei Chen. An argument about price began. Ping Jiang magistrate Li Guangning rescued Rui and sent him to Beijing to serve the Ming Palace.
Oh, that's not rescuing.
No shit, eh?
That's not. You go from a servant to one thing to a servant to another thing. Yeah, that's not.
That's not a rescue. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be like America that says they're going to do airdrops, but they also send bombs.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of those is not humanitarian. Sorry.
And in fact, counteracts the very claim of humanitarianism.
Yeah, that's the other problem. not only say there's no red line, but constantly send more weapons and more money. Yeah. Besides being their damn backer, what the fuck? So I mean, how are you not somehow culpable for that behavior?
Yeah, that's right. No, it's when a lot of people decide that they cannot consciously vote for Joe Biden because of the things he's done and said now, like, and then Donald Trump gets in, like the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, have no one to blame but themselves.
Well, I think also Joe Biden, really, he's as old as he is. I mean, he never should have tried to. He thought I should let someone else in the Democrat Party go in. He never should have. I mean, it never should have been a choice. I think it's just ego.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to be president, which is it went back to why I told you it's not a good thing. Worshiping leaders is just not a good thing.
Yeah,
you know what they like? Power. You know what they don't want to leave? Power.
Yep.
Even like there was it Dianne Feinstein. The chick was like couldn't hardly even control herself, but still wanted to be not kicked out of the Senate or not leave.
Yeah, that's right.
Power hungry, like just it's disgusting on all sides. It's not just politics. It's the whole system of leaders.
Yep.
That's the toxic part. No.
I don't see how anybody can look at it and not see that it's the entire system is toxic, right?
Yeah,
like you've got the genociders on both sides. Like,
right. There is no choice. No, like I said, the choice is bad or fucking bad.
Yeah,
they're both bad.
Yeah,
and so that's why I told you I really hate hearing about how they think he's good. I'm like, okay, if we both admit he's bad, but we might have to choose bad as opposed to fucking bad, at least we're being honest. But to tell me good and bad, it's not good. What?
Yeah,
the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, like it's just not honest, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's not honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's a fight between good and evil. It makes me want to vomit in my mouth. What the fuck?
Yeah, I see a lot of those Democrats, and I'm like posting on Twitter or Facebook, and it's just like, what world are you living in that this is a fight between good and evil? This is evil and like more evil. Like,
more evil. Evil and more evil.
Like, what is
Yeah, it's not going to be less evil with Trump. If you think that, you're fucking insane. Especially
that's
with his Christian nationalism, it's absolutely going to be more evil.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's an outright fascist. He's not like fascist adjacent. He just says, fucking,
No, I'm not going to be surprised when Donald Trump wins. And I am only going to be worried for my friends that live in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing, too. I don't understand anyone... Even if we don't vote for Biden and Trump gets in, why would anybody? Because someone said they're happy to see Democrats and unhappy, and I thought, I'm going to be unhappy because Trump is in. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I mean, because that's like saying when someone's voting for Hitler, and you're like, well, I'll be happy when the people that hate Hitler gets in because he hates you. What are you talking about? Trump said, "I hate. I'm gonna get out of this country." The communists and the socialists. I don't know if he said anarchists or not, but
he doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know what that means. So.
Dumb shit. So, he probably thinks communists. In his own mind, he's probably like those liberals.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Dumb as fuck.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Or uninformed, at least.
Like most right wingers, he thinks that the Democrats are socialists and communists.
Like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Ignorant.
No, they're closer to fascist, dumb fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, they literally are actually. Yeah.
Well, no, but they go, oh, what? Like, oh, Fetterman saying don't question the leader. You have Joe Biden saying there's no lines to human horror that they will bother him from supporting war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and did you know that they just passed today? The Republicans and Democrats, they passed today that Twitter's going to get banned in the United States.
How is that possible?
Like, well, the people that go on, you know, are risking stuff. And then they've made that choice. Anyways, moving along. What?
I don't see how they can do that. Like, good luck.
You mean you don't know that how they can just make laws that don't make sense? Yeah, they do that shit.
I don't even know how they can logistically do that. Like like they'd have to get enough people that are politicians that aren't on Twitter to vote for it.
Yeah. No, they already passed.
Oh, seriously.
No, that's what I'm saying. Today, before we got on, like a half an hour before, they voted, and it passed. So yeah. I think they have. Well, I think what it is, something like they have 30 days to sell the company away from China or whatever to American or something.
Oh, that's what it is. It's fucking Chinophobia or xenophobia.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. So they're worried that, even though the company already said that they're gonna have a private server and all this, they're like, nope.
Yeah, it's all just racism. It's just racism.
Yeah, right. So, anyways, so they're gonna have, and like, but it's also rights. Okay, so governments don't do it. That's your choice. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So like now you're curbing like the so-called private industry that supplies for like free speech, right? Like I don't see how this is upholdable. Like
but once again, that's all I was trying to show an example. I was just trying to example fascism. Just saying when you that's all I was trying to say is when you say that they never do
oh
it.
My God.
Like, yes, they do.
They're just the fucking worst. Like what the
all I'm trying to say is because a lot of them think, well, there's no examples, and I'm like, Fetterman saying don't question the leader. You have him, the leader saying I have no fucking red line. Yeah. Then you have the people in the House or whatever voting to kick out the company because of China.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But it's like, okay, so why are we like their biggest trade, partner, and yet you're saying they're our biggest threat? Like, how can those two things like coincide in your mind?
Because America can't survive without a threat.
Like, what the?
This is all just fucking capitalist America, corporate America has to have a fucking outside threat to keep the fucking military-industrial complex going.
Yeah. Got to spend more money on that.
Next thing you know, they're going to be declaring war against China.
You know, it's also real fucked up too, because they always say, "Oh, they give more money to the military." You know who doesn't get the money in the military? The fucking actual person that's risking their life.
Yeah,
the actual service people are treated like shit.
Yeah, that's right. Especially if they're injured in the line of duty, right?
Oh, well, then it's even worse, because then the only thing you were good for is killing, and if you're not good at that, well, fuck, you're not any good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking horrid. So I find that to be also pretty damn shitty. That here they say, oh, how proud, and these, because they, I don't do this because I'm an anarchist and I wouldn't do this, but they always, people will say, thank you for your service,
Right.
And they also have to say it with that kind of weird voice or put their hand on
the reverence. Yeah, that's right.
Whatever the weird shit they're doing. I don't say that. People say they're in the military. I just go, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I don't thank you for your service, because you don't serve me. You serve the bosses, the elites, the owning class. You serve.
Well, and I also feel that a lot of them are victims. So I'm like, I'm not proud that you did that.
That's right.
You're telling me you have a victim story.
Yeah.
Like, as one person said that she came from some other country in America and, turned into a citizen after she, fought, in Iraq or whatever the hell she did. Some shit. I'm like, yeah, that's actually not a good story. That's not a country that should have gave a person with nothing a help when they have everything.
but instead,
not take advantage of them and put them in almost harm's way to die and go kill other poor people.
Yeah, it's the same reason they recruit at high schools now, you know, or like through video games, they put out these recruiting calls, because you can't recruit an adult into the military because we all learned enough to, you know, or we're self-sustaining enough that we wouldn't go into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm just saying, you can tell when people, they say certain things, they have a certain type of way of, you know, being servile.
Yeah. I think that the people who consistently defend the Democratic Party as though they're the good guys, I think it's because they get their news from mainstream sources. They don't actually listen to any critical analysis on top of it. Because there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, from getting news from mainstream sources, as long as you also apply like critical, like you also get it from outside sources. Like,
well, here's the thing too. You can get the facts, but don't allow their opinions to become your facts, beliefs.
Yeah, that's right.
Because a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, look at the economy, but don't worry, everything will be fine. We just got to keep throwing money, you know, towards the rich people."
Yeah, like
you need to know that's horseshit.
Yeah, that's right. Like talking about GDP as though that affects the average person is like, so your person in poverty working 3 jobs doesn't give a fuck about the GDP. Like they're still trying to just survive.
Right. And so
the wealthy care about that.
So
like
their whole system is not to gauge on what the people are actually experiencing, but to, you know, in a sense, present this fucking narrative that makes them sound okay.
Yep, that's right. It's all about framing things in a way that makes it so that you don't question the system that exists. You don't question the people who have the power. You just go and vote every 4 years for your person, for the team that you've been led to pick.
Well, I told you, I feel like, you know, it's like we're all forced to, that we can choose the slot machine and have the smallest say at all, or just not, and then there's still someone's going to do it.
Yep. That's right.
But I mean, so what I don't understand, I understand that. What I don't understand is why people think that's good. Why people want it to keep happening.
Yeah, that's right. Why there isn't more people who are like radical changes needed.
Right. So, like they go, you need to. I always have Democrats trying to tell me, Damien, you need to understand we still need to vote because it could get worse. I'm like, yeah, I understand that. What I don't understand is how you don't understand it. Why do we have to do that?
Yeah.
How is this a good system?
Why did you think it was okay to go back to brunch when Biden won last time? Yeah. Like, Trump was out. The troubles, the bad things, they didn't end. So,
well, another thing too is that why did Biden get credit that he won because he was great? He didn't win because he was great. He won because everyone's horrified of Trump. He may, if he wins again, which is not as likely as last time, but let's just say he wins again. It won't because people like Biden. It will be because Trump is horrible.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. So there's no reason to act like it, because they always go, we need to understand how good Biden's done. Okay.
It's a myth.
Yeah. Well, it would have been worse under Trump. That's not a recommendation for Biden.
It's not a defense. It's not a good defense. Yeah. It's like when Biden was elected last time, his awfulness wasn't as apparent as it is now, which is why I don't feel I think that a lot of people who don't feel like the politics actually affects their daily lives, like people who are still working 3 jobs, whatever, like poverty people who live in poverty, if they went out last time to vote, those same numbers aren't going to show up for Biden this time. That's my opinion.
It's going to be a lot harder because I know even me, I never was like the Democrats delusional that Biden was so great.
Right.
Like, yeah, this is the guy that got Clarence Thomas in there.
Yeah. Yeah, right? That's right.
Right. Literally the dickhead The dickhead that a woman said that hit Clarence Thomas did a sexual sit, and Biden was there with him completely over her. So, yeah, the reason, like he was, the reason Clarence Thomas is a problem. Yeah, and you know who the fuck put him there? Biden.
Yep, that's
Let's
right.
stop lying and acting like he's this great fucking superhero.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He literally, and then of course Strom Thurmond, wasn't he that separatist racist fucking dude that Biden practically worshipped the fucking ground that guy fucking stood on?
Yeah.
If you worship like Trump, like right, if Trump is reading Hitler's speeches at night, can't we say he's worshiping Hitler? Right? And if he's worshiping Hitler, is that a good thing? If Joe Biden is worshiping racists, what does that make Joe Biden?
Yeah,
and then Joe Biden tells us in his own words sometimes so we can hear it. He says, "I'm against the busing," and he said back then, "Why? Because I don't want my children to grow up in a concrete jungle or some
right."
But we know he's trying to like throw in black people are from the jungle and apes or some shit. You know, it's fucking racist. So it's like, I know this motherfucker comes from racist. So I didn't have, and like I said, people can change. You know, he got some black people. Yeah, but there's a bunch of racist Republicans that no one, even the Democrats, would say that Clarence Thomas is not friends with.
Right.
All kinds of racists. No problem. Literally, isn't that guy that he goes all the time? Literally has all kinds of Nazi statues.
He's a Nazi. That's right.
So let's not bullshit ourselves here, okay? There's no fucking So just saying I got a black friend, well, that doesn't mean you're not a racist.
That's right.
Fuck.
Yeah, you could be friends with Clarence Thomas and still be a full-blown Nazi. So,
right. So that argument's proved well. So yeah. Anyway, so but I'm saying, he's the problem. He's why that dumb fuck is even Clarence Thomas is in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I was saying, but some reason, as Fetterman theology would say, you can't question Biden on anything. You can't be critical of anything, even if it's true.
Actual fuck.
You know, even if it's true, right? Even if it's true, even if we should always give truth to power. So your argument is don't do truth to power because
it's Biden, because it's my guy.
Yeah, you know, like, I had to stop for a second because, like, where was the justification exactly? Oh, I know the justification, but then we'll get Trump. Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah, well, that's how it is now, right? Like, the Democrats don't have to do anything good because what's on the other side?
Well, he even says that. He says his argument is don't judge me against the Almighty, judge me against the other guy.
What about I just judge you based on basic decency? Like, come the fuck on.
Well, my point was, so I can't judge you and still vote for you? What if that?
Yeah,
so
right,
your voters have to be sycophants? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I can't be a voter then.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Because that is never going to happen.
And that was the whole thing in 2020 was they wanted to make sure that everybody knew you're allowed to criticize Joe Biden. We're not like the Republicans. We don't worship our leader. We can criticize him and hold his feet to the fire once he's elected. And it's been like this for like 4 years. You're not allowed to criticize him. Oh, no, you can't do anything. Can't say anything
Well,
bad.
this is going to be the longest, election season in history. You know what long means? People forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of history, let's go back and read a little more.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time left before I can go.
Oh, no, we don't have that much time. So let's forget that. Anyways,
okay.
So just to get summarized, what do you think about, there's definitely plenty we could have kept reading, but
yeah, there's a lot of Eunuch stuff.
Well, if you go down further too, there's China's history and human sacrifice.
Right.
Of course, that's always, a crowd pleaser.
Jeez, eh?
Yeah.
Young eunuchs used for intimate services.
Yeah.
Eunuchs in battle.
Yeah, just read the titles. That's a good one. Just read the titles.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to it.
Castration policy changes. So maybe there was some changes at least. But yeah, then we got young eunuchs used for intimate services. Eunuchs and banner women. The end of the dynasty. So that's something about the Qing dynasty.
Right.
China's history of human sacrifice. Yeesh. That's a long one.
Just read the first part of that.
Where do we? Yeah. Human sacrifice is the act of killing one or more humans as part of a ritual, which is usually intended to please or appease gods, a human ruler, public or jurisdictional demands for justice by capital punishment, an authoritative priestly figure or spirits of dead ancestors, or as a retainer sacrifice, wherein a monarch's servants are killed in order for them to continue to serve their master in the next life. Closely related practices found in some tribal societies are cannibalism and headhunting. Human sacrifice was practiced in many human societies beginning in prehistoric times by the Iron Age, first millennium BCE, with the associated developments
in 3,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah. With the associated developments in religion, the Axial Age, human sacrifice was becoming less common throughout Africa, Europe, and Asia, and came to be looked down upon as barbaric during classical antiquity. In the Americas, however, human sacrifice continued to be practiced by some to varying degrees until the European colonization of the Americas. Today, human sacrifice has become extremely rare. Modern secular laws treat human sacrifices as tantamount to murder. It literally is. Most major religions.
Yeah, I don't know why you put tantamount.
Yeah.
Or he's like, excuse me, can I ask the person who wrote this, why did you add the word tantamount?
Yeah, that's right. It can be seen as what it is, murder. Yeah.
It's seen as murder because it is.
Yeah, very strange to add that kind of caveat in there. Yeah. Most major religions in modern day condemn the practice. For example, the Hebrew Bible prohibits murder and human sacrifice to Moloch.
But of course, it doesn't say don't do sacrifice to anyone, just to Moloch, right?
Just to Moloch, yeah. That's right.
All right.
Cool. We've also got like down here.
That's good. So, okay. What do you think about learning all this wonderful stuff about states and their?
Well, it didn't change my mind about states.
You didn't become a lover?
No, I didn't suddenly think they were good.
Oh, you didn't think that's when civilization started? When they started cutting off genitals and slavery and all? Just Although like all the horrors of humanity, literally, you call that the beginning of civilization.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. But anyways, I appreciate it, and we're gonna do Japan next time. The country you say you didn't know where it was on the map.
Yeah, no, I don't know much about Japan. It's an island, right?
Yes, it is. It's actually a couple islands, really.
Ah, yeah.
So it's actually more than just one, but yeah.
I know they kind of adopted like a hyper-capitalist society more recently, like World War II sort of area. But yeah.
Well, after World War II, they no longer had a god emperor. Right. Because they used to have a god emperor, where in a sense the emperor was the son of the son of the sun goddess, I think is what it was. Something like that, or related to the sun goddess. Like, the night sun, the red one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, like the flag?
Yep.
The big red sun.
Ah.
In fact, I seen a red sun like that was like the other night, or it was on TV. I saw it. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
But anyways, the same member, because that's a different deity.
Ah. Okay.
Because they thought also another thing people thought in the ancient is that the sun would go into the earth and like die a river, like it's buried.
Ah.
And in the morning, the goddess gives birth to the sun again.
Interesting.
Every morning. So the goddess is in the underworld also, which also relates to the night and the moon. As I said. But anyway, so we're gonna do Japan, and then we're gonna do Siberia, and then we're gonna do a show on basically pseudoscience, pseudohistory, pseudoarchaeology, kind of explain all that, what those things mean and stuff.
Right.
And then we're gonna talk about Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
So you'll have to have watched the show.
I got a few weeks yet. I'm good.
No, you just get on it, man.
I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, but I'll get to it.
I mean, it's mildly entertaining, but because it's all bullshit though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The filming and stuff, you know, it's kind of like Indiana Jones or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what he's saying is not true. So it's, you know, like it's like the ancient alien theorists. You know, yeah. There's conspiracy theorists that are ancient alien believers.
Right.
But there's no like real theory about ancient aliens. No. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because if there was such a thing, archaeologists, I guarantee, would not be hiding it. They would be trying to build their careers off it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
because if the evidence pointed that way and you were the one who discovered that,
Yeah.
would be huge, right?
Huge.
So-
Even like me, right? So I say stuff that sometimes people don't know, even archaeologists, are because they focus in an area and I'm like all over the place. So
Yeah.
I can also see connections that sometimes, other people
Yeah.
aren't noticing.
Yeah,
But anyway,
'cause they
so
focus
or
on-
whatever, or explain it in a way that's helps understanding. Because I put DNA language and so myths, everything starts not trying to fit, but just showing. Look at all this is fitting the same theme.
Yeah.
It's telling a story.
Yeah.
And I'm just anyway. So on Academia edu, whatever, that I've posted now like 40 something articles or whatever.
Okay.
And I've been quoted a bunch of times, like in Neolithic archaeology, somebody used something I said or showed or whatever, or a quote or something that So I've had in archaeology and prehistory and different ones, anthropology, Neolithic. In fact, I think I told you I had a picture I drew. I don't know if it was archaeology or anthropology of Sweden, whatever, or Norway studies or something. They wanted to use my picture.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just saying the difference of Graham Hancock is that when I say things, I don't try to just make up nonsense that like easily disprovable, or certainly even if it can't be disproved, it's like the Loch Ness monster or something.
Right.
Yeah, it's not founded on some kind of like facts. So I understand why it's also for Corey hard to have to watch an hour of that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, at least it's entertaining and they show you stuff and you just don't. It's bad. I told you need to listen with the sound on, but I told this archaeologist, my opinion, the best way to watch Graham Hancock, because he does show you cool stuff, whatever, is just cut the sound.
Yeah. Yeah. No subtitles, no sound, just
educational. Just sound off. Look at all the cool shit he's showing you. Then it actually, But anyways, you need to listen now because what they want to talk about is the con.
Right.
How even the skeptic that doesn't know the history, it's like I was saying about how I knew the guy wanted to offer me flowers, and I'm looking around going, yeah, you're not asking why the fuck are you asking me this? Out of the blue, some stranger, you're just walking on. Me and my wife are just walking, back to our car from the the festival or whatever, and you just keep coming up to me like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm just saying there's certain things that people can do that you just go,
yeah.
You don't even have to know. You just know that that's not right. Especially because you're like, they say that I'm, the worst, whatever. And that's almost how he starts. That's why I want you to watch it. Just watch the first one because it starts off bad, well, the most hated person in archaeology or history, And he talks. They even call me. Some people call me a pseudoscientist or pseudoarchaeologist. I'm a journalist, and I'm like, when you start with all that, that's If you start with like, here's the facts of these cool things, and then people can believe in it. But yeah, even like he tries to his thing. He wants everything to be older
right.
Because of course it's a conspiracy theory that somehow science is hiding the facts.
Of course,
archaeologists are somehow the bad guys.
Yeah. It's always got to be a conspiracy, right?
But I think it's good having me around archaeologists because here I am saying also kind of wild stuff, but of course I back mine up, and thus they don't hate on me, and they're not attacking me, and they're not doing anything,
Yeah.
like they're asking. they're doing stuff. They're quoting me in their articles,
Right.
and they want to use my art. That doesn't sound like the Graham Hancock experience.
Exactly.
Because it's not the archaeologists that are the issue in this little story. It's you. Yeah.
Yep.
So
cool.
Right on. Well, go ahead and tell people what you're doing and where to find you.
Sure. It's skepticalleftist.com or Skeptical Leftist on all social media sites, and the Skeptical Leftist podcast on YouTube or any podcast app. We do, me and Justin talk about books. We talk from an anarchist and a Marxist perspective, and I interview people every now and then. And then I guess I also do a podcast with my partner. We talk about a variety of things that apply to family stuff and feminism. So
right on. Well, I think that's good. We need to have, in fact, my blog, I said, the last one I did about rape, 25,000 years ago. And I say, from this dark, because I think it may be less than that, there's evidence of, but even if it only starts 7,000 years ago, the rape and all that shit, that's still a dark past.
Yep. Yep.
So I say, from this dark patriarchal past, can we find, a humanistic, secular, feminist future?
For sure.
I think we need to. Anyways, so
cool.
It's good talking to you, and
for sure.
I'll see you next time with Japan.
Sounds good.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument-driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity, I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudohistory, pseudomorality, things that are found in religion.